Here we go. Thursday night. NFL kicks off tonight. Guys, I want to say thanks to this panel, by the way. I know that I have half the panel is over in England, and their interpretation of football is much different than the United States football. But nonetheless, in this country, it's pretty big, okay? Football's pretty big. And I got these guys with us tonight, which means the world to me. I want to say also, just a quick warning out there. There's actually, I don't know why, there's like storms passing by. I don't know if that's going to knock power out. You never know, especially when it's this kind of weather where it's like humid and all that other good stuff. So if the power does go out, guys, I apologize. That's not a me problem. It's an us problem. I don't know what to say. That being said, let's get to this outstanding panel. And by the way, please take a second, hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Your name comes up in lights. And if you look right above that great description is the join button. That's how you become part of the Mooch Maniac family members. Please take a second to click some, if not all, those buttons. That being said, let me go ahead and start with the one and only. You guys know him as the great Death Singer. Death Singer says to me, Mooch, I'm so lost in this game. I'm playing Lost Soul Aside. And he goes, I forget it's Thursday. I go, but Death Singer, you've been on like every tweet I've tweeted out for the past 48 hours. Your phone was blowing up. He goes, yeah, but you get lost in these RPGs. That's why I love them. That's why you guys love them too. The great Death Singer's back with us. Death, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great, and like Lost Soul Aside is, it's got issues, but I am. We'll get into it later. But it's a pleasure seeing Jack. I haven't spoken to Jack in ages. Barry, he went through the ringer with me. Shout out to NBA 2K being the best-selling RPG of the year.
Oh. Yeah.
I expected to win RPG of the Year at the Game Awards, I expected to be a nomination.
We all do. Let's hold out and see. Shout out to Danelle Brown. He says, football is back. Shout out to Danelle. Appreciate it. The great Jay Barry, too, says, hit that like button. Well, without further ado, the great Jay Barry, the Jay Barry Show. You guys have been watching nonstop coverage of his, not only the gaming, but also his critiques on the shows. We're going to get into the state of play in a moment. But the great Jay Barry is back with us. Jay, outstanding to have you on the show, buddy. And again, I do appreciate you being with us this Thursday of all Thursdays with football kickoff. How you doing tonight?
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure, Mooch, being back on the show. I appreciate it. You know what I mean? For the invite. It's been a long time. On here, so It's going to be a movie today.
I know.
I know. Yo, Death Singer, yes, NBA 2K will be an RPG of the year. And y'all just got a message, a public service announcement, Mooch.
What's
Is that okay with you?
Yes, please.
I need Astro Cyborg. When you clip up people goddamn streams, put the goddamn link in your clip, okay? Put the goddamn link in your clip. If I catch you again clipping up people and you don't put the link in the clip, I'm kicking you a goddamn shin.
That's okay? Right. Can we get some credits? Can we get some credit for it? Thank you.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yes,
if you're going to talk about somebody, at least link the
At least person. Put the link in there. Yes. Outstanding.
Put the link in there, man.
Put the link in there.
But it's going to be a good show. My bad, Mooch.
Yo, I got news for you guys in the audience. I hope you guys are drinking and got your snacks because Jay's on one tonight. He said, buckle in, Mooch. I said, all right, buddy, I'm ready to go. The great Jay Barry,
I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good mood, man.
You are.
I got into the Marvel Tokon beta, so I'm happy now. You know what I mean?
Listen, I got to be honest with you.
I didn't get it.
I know you in person. I know you in Persona all too well. And when I saw originally, if you guys didn't get it, I was like, Jay's gonna come in here pretty nasty if he didn't get that code. So I want to thank the Marvel Token devs and PlayStation for giving Jay Barry a code. Thank you. Which Jay, honestly, we want to talk about that as we go through the show too. I am interested to get some of your takes on that if you're allowed to talk about it. The great Nib is with us as well. You guys know, by the way, I don't know if we broke a record or we didn't. I'm not really sure. We went 4 hours last week. We're not doing 4 hours this week. I promise you guys that. Not with football on tonight. But Nib, great to have you, buddy. I was just saying this before the show. You, Jack, Jay on the show. That's pretty much Gaming X all combined into one on one podcast. So Nib, great to have you, buddy. How you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, not too bad. Good.
Good to have you, buddy.
Working away.
Sure, yeah.
I've been gaming a lot though. I played Silksong earlier. I was playing that for a few hours. Pretty decent.
We're going to talk about Silksong.
I might rattle a few cages.
I'm a big fan of Silksong, but I do have some questions. And you guys know from last week, and now that the game is out and Nibs played and a few others, we can finally talk about it. Shout out to the Mag Show. Shout out to the Mag. Says Astro is an come on now, Mag. Let's be kind, buddy. Let's be kind. Mag's out there. Mag is him and Astro have a great history as well. Shout out to the Mag guys. Go over and check out Mag's show as well. He does great gaming takes as well on his and he has a solo cast as well nowadays. But last but certainly not least, I reached out to Jack this week because I said, listen, I'm going through X and I'm doing my notes for the show. And I'm like, Jack is just hit after hit after hit. I said, I got to get him on the show. And he says, yeah, Mooch, I can do the show. Sure. I said, that's fantastic. Jack, welcome back to the show, buddy. I think your Titans and my Giants are probably going to end up with roughly the same record. So it's not that we have to be glued to the TV these Sundays, but we should probably just keep an eye on what our draft pick's going to be for next year. Jack, welcome back, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on to the viewers? Shout out to the panel. We back. I was supposed to come on like last month, man. I got caught up with some
That's all right.
Celebrations. Yeah, but we here, man. We here. What's good with y'all?
You're here now, Jack. And honestly, I'm going to put you on the hot seat first and foremost. And I said this to the guys earlier. Jack, I don't know if you heard me, but I was saying it before the show. A lot of the topics I have written that I shared with you guys, definitely, for sure, we'll venture off into some sidebars that we're going to get into. So, Jack, I'm going to start real quick with the state of play that happened yesterday, right? Because let's just get that part out of the way here. They showcased 007 First Light. I want to get your take on that. And then rumors, before you could even digest 007, they've already started saying that the September one that's rumored to be coming out is going to show Wolverine, maybe even Intergalactic. I think a little bit of this is far-fetched. But, Jack, start first with what you thought of First Light. And also, what do you think about PlayStation doing the heavy amount of third-party deals as state of plays where they used to be first-party mainly?
Well, I'm going to start off by saying, well, first of all, as far as PlayStation go, they definitely need to start showing first-party games. I've been complaining heavily this whole generation. I've been complaining, right? I've been complaining, hey, man, that first-party output ain't looking right. I saw a list the other day, man. They had how many exclusives each PlayStation generation had, and it started at like 400 with the PlayStation 1. Then it went to like 200, 300. Then at the PS5 said 13, brother, 13 in 5 years? I don't even know if the numbers was accurate. People were saying they was accurate. Either way, we need more first party games.
We do.
So the First Light state of play, full disclosure, I'm not a real big 007 fan. I'm not really plugged in with the IP like that. Regardless, I saw the gameplay. The positives, I think the game, I enjoy the art style. I like the cartoony, like a realistic cartoony look to the art style. I think that's dope. IO Interactive, the Hitman games, I think they're a dope developer.
Mm-hmm.
The gameplay looked cool. I'm gonna be honest though. Now this is a hot take, chat. I know y'all not gonna like this. I wasn't too all the way impressed with the gameplay. Why do I say this? It is giving me heavy Uncharted 3 vibes, right? And I love Uncharted. Uncharted 3 is my least favorite one, though. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's reminding me a lot of like an Uncharted 3, the plane, the cargo plane fights. And I wasn't feeling it, man. I'm not going to say I wasn't feeling it. It just, I don't know if I'm getting too old as a gamer. Like, these set pieces don't really do nothing for me no more, man. When I see like a big, expansive set piece or like a crazy gameplay, I'm just like, it looked cool, but like, how much is this really gameplay? I did enjoy how cinematic it was. I enjoyed the voice acting in the gameplay. I think it was a mistake opening up with that long ass driving sequence. And then you do some gameplay and then you go into another long ass driving sequence. It's like, how much are you truly driving in this game, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. But other than that, it looked cool. You know what I mean? I might check it out. I'm not saying I'm not gonna get it. I just wasn't blown away though. I wasn't. You know what I mean? Yeah,
myself personally, Jack. So the thing is how? Let me ask you this question, and guys chime in as well. Jack, what do you think though? Did it really just mimic the Hitman fingerprint again?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
It did look heavily like Hitman as well. I left that part out. You could definitely see, like, you know what I mean? If you didn't even know who was developing this game, if you looked at that on foot gameplay, like, yeah, this is some IO Interactive, right? You're setting up traps and you luring people in.
Yep.
It looked heavy like a Hitman skin, if we being honest. I was reading the comment section on YouTube, and somebody even said where this mission takes place is actually a level in one of the newer Hitman games. So I don't even know if that's true or not. You're supposedly in those mountains in the new Hitman games as well. So I don't want to say it's a reskin, but I can definitely see it's like if Uncharted and Hitman had a baby. Like, that's really what this 007, and that's probably music to a lot of people's ears, right? Me personally, I got to see a little bit more.
Like with me, I don't see an issue with that. Because it is the same developer. They're going to have likenesses to it, but it also works in the James Bond type of world. You know what I mean? How you attack the mission, how you go about your objectives, being stealthy or being really aggressive or using your gadgets to cause distractions. It kind of work within that James Bond type of world. But as far as the state of play, I thought the state of play was cool. But I do have my disappointments with it. I think the gameplay, I'm in the opposite ballpark with Jack. I think the gameplay is what's actually selling it to me. The gameplay looked fun, and yeah, it is similar to Uncharted, where I could familiarize myself with it.
Yeah. As
far as like, okay, this is something like a game that I already like. It's very high octane action. They have like good little, I want to say melee moves or like push off. You can do like little dynamic stuff by pushing the enemy off or dropping them down a ledge as well. And that plane scene is very, very Uncharted 3, which is a great scene in my opinion. But they also added a different dynamic where you're controlling the wings of the plane, so you're using the environment rather than it just being cinematic alone. You're using the environment to tackle the enemies as well. But my issues what I had with this joint, performance was trash. I don't like the look of the game either. I hate this little motion blur all over the characters, the car, the gun, the explosion. Everything is just motion blur up in the place. I think the character details are hella low. If you look by that car scene and they panned over the camera and you looked into the car, there was barely any detail on any of the characters' face. I was like, are they really showing this? Like, this looks bad.
Did they show it? Did they show it too? Do you think they showed it too early? I mean, it's coming out. What is it? Next March.
I don't know if they showed it too early. I think they have enough time to clean up the game and whatnot, performance wise and graphical fidelity and resolution. But I'm just shocked that they came to the state of play where the game was looking in that state. In my opinion. Also, they didn't even talk about the Pro. You know what I mean? When you doing a breakdown for the state of play at a PlayStation state of play, and you ain't talk about the consoles as far as what is going to be delivering.
Yeah.
Got the base console. All right, what's the target resolution, the target frame rate, and then you have the Pro. You know what I mean? Like, talk about that stuff. You know what I mean? I would think you would use the state of play to talk about that stuff. But I'm sold on the gameplay, but visually, this joint, I feel like this is going to get a delay. And if it does get a delay, I feel bad for the game because it does look fun because you're going into that GTA 6, window. You know what I mean? If this get pushed out to April, people's already thinking about, I got to save my ducats up for GTA 6.
That's right.
If we get pushed into May, it's dead in the water. You know what I mean? But it does look fun. I'm intrigued, but we got to be real here. Performance and visuals, it looks rough.
Yeah.
So that's a day one for you, J Bar?
I don't know if it looks better, and if I see there's an option for like the motion blur stuff to turn off like some games do, then I would do it. I'll probably like, you know what, I can play through it because I've played through games where the performance don't have to be rock solid. Pause. You know what I mean? Like I could deal with a little hitch here and there, especially if you got VRR TV and all that stuff. But that motion blur, if that can't get turned off, I don't know, man. I'm good on it.
The thing about it is, and Detzinger, I want to hear your take. I'm going to you next. I just the one thing that just kind of piggyback a little bit off of Jack's and Jay's critiques of it is when it comes to the 007 movies, and I've seen a bunch of them. Have I seen them all? No, I've seen a lot of them. Each one is its own represented story, right? And now they're taking Bond and they're bringing him back to his early days, right? Which again, that's actually not a bad idea because we don't have any significance, if you will, with any of the older ones. We've gone from Timothy Craig to what is his name? I can't remember the guy's name now. I'm thinking of the guy in the 80s there, late 90s. He did it for a while. What's his name?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan. Yeah. Thank you. Like, there's a bunch of guys that did this. Of course, Sean Connery, the original. But my point being is that where does this lure you in? I've gotten to a point right now with games, and Jack, maybe it's because of the conversation you were saying earlier. It struck something with me that I agree with you. Like there's a lot of games that are coming out next year. There's a lot of games that are even coming out in the next 4 to 6 weeks, right? You can't play them all. And this game is eerily representative. And I see some people in the chat going, Mooch, what do you expect? Of course, this is going to be like a Hitman. It's Hitman with Bond. But what changes it from, is it just the theme music? Is it the music that gets you to go, oh, this is Bond? because it's really Hitman, but with a different name, you know. And I'm like, for me personally, I've ignored the Hitman series for a very long time. It didn't really do anything for me. Do I think this might be better? This might be better than the Hitman series, but I don't know. I think right now, when Jack USJ, is this a day one? I don't know if I'll pick this up at any point, to be honest with you. Go ahead, Death Singer. I just wanted to get my opinion on that because to me, this is just it's Hitman. So when I saw this revealed even at the last showcase, I really wasn't lighting a match and stomping my feet. You know, go ahead, Death. I want to hear what you got to say. But
I love James Bond. I love all the movies, all the old games. Shout out to GoldenEye classic.
What if they call Death Singer? What if they called this Mission Impossible? Would you love that then?
No. And I still don't love it. Like, this isn't a day one for me or anything. Like, this is I looked at it and I'm like, yo, this is Hitman, right? With the skin on. I like Hitman, but I would never make Hitman a day one. It would never be a day one for me. James Bond would never be a day one for me. Because, there's probably other games releasing around the time, other things to look forward to, and I'd have to make my decisions. The motion blur, that was rough. I'm so grateful that I'll be able to turn it off day one. I don't know if the consoles will have the ability to. I hope you do. But that motion blur is going to be gone instantly. The performance looked rough. That was one of my big takeaways. I was looking at you could see it, and you're like, give it time. Hopefully, they
the plane scene. The plane scene was. I was like, yo, I can't believe they actually showing this, bro.
That's the thing.
Wow, it was wild. But like the combat and like the stealth and being able to take out your gadgets and do the whole James Bond, live the whole James Bond fantasy. I like that. Like the gameplay actually looks real cool. There's a lot of blockbuster action. It's like, okay, I can get with this. But the performance, the visuals also, like, when they initially showed it, people were like, oh, these visuals are going crazy. And you look at it now and you're like, is that really crazy, though? For 2025, 2026? I mean, it looks, you could probably pass that off as this is going to sound bad, but probably like a PS4 game. But, that's just my opinion. Like, the graphics ain't all that.
Yeah.
So,
well,
it's definitely not day one.
Greco made a point. Shout out to Greco in the chat. He says, Mooch, I think some of the other devs would have to tackle the IP for you not to see that anymore. It's those Hitman mechanics. Yeah, that's the thing. So once we saw who was doing it, some people might have been relieved because when it comes to stealth and this type of action, let's be honest, the Hitman series may be unmatched. They have a lot of that down. I just don't think when you look at the last few Hitmans, and Hugo goes, Mooch, negative as always. I'm not being negative. If you listen to the show, I've been saying this for almost a decade. I've never been a big Hitman fan. Never really been a big Hitman
Mooch,
fan.
You a negative Nancy Mooch?
I guess so.
Jack move rubbing off for you, man.
Yeah, Jack.
That's your problem right there.
Love to see it.
Love to see it, right? I mean, so Nib, let me get your take on it real quick, Nib, because I mean, maybe you'll add something different.
Whose laugh was that? It was like,
I don't know.
That was me.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
That's a pony commissioner, Ned. Pay your respects, like, okay?
Half pony, half horse. Like. Nah, kidding. Yeah, I thought it looked fucking awesome. It's right up my alley. It's the kind of game that, one, I love Bond. I've literally seen every single one.
Okay.
Some of the Bond movies are my favorite of all time, like Casino Royale, Skyfall, and GoldenEye.
Hey, don't you got one of them watches too, Nib?
I actually do not have an Omega Seamaster, actually. Probably should get one at some point. But yeah, no, performance definitely. I thought the visuals were impressive for me, and as someone who plays Hitman, loves Hitman, just felt like the density of the environments was richer, like way more draw distance, way more foliage, way more stuff going on in the background. So yeah, obviously it has some rough spots, like Bari said, when the car panned around and they were inside the car, it did actually look crap. But I think they must have basically a LOD drop off when it goes through translucency. So when it goes through the model or the glass, then it's loading a lower quality version of the characters. So that can be tweaked, obviously. But yeah, besides that, I like how high octane, and it's kind of like Hitman X Uncharted. So Hitman with higher production, more set pieces, more extravagance. And you asked earlier if it was Mission Impossible, would you be as excited?
Right.
And no, I wouldn't, because I think the thing with Bond is the like chauvinistic charisma. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, that's
Bond
fair.
is different. Yeah, Bond is like completely. It's that British like slickness, the cars, the women, the lavishness. Everything's just going to be kind of like a bit more plush. Like
Okay, that's probably one of the better answers, and I didn't think of it that way. I'm glad you kind of added that.
Yeah. So and that means like. Don't get me wrong, Mission Impossible, I love Mission Impossible as well, like one of my favorite.
Well, my point, and Nib, my only reason to say that is if we're going to just put a skin, because I don't think there's anything, and you actually just said it, so a moment ago I didn't have anything, but right now with what you said, you're right. Bond does bring that, like, that just unbelievable, like, posture, that cockiness, you know what I mean? He brings that whole arrogance thing. And if they bring that to the limelight, to the forefront, that does a lot. And I see Greco and a lot of people going, Mooch, you really got to get into the story. The story might be the winner here. But like the reason I made the Mission Impossible reference was, of course, it's not a 1-for-1. But we could almost, same thing with almost like Indiana Jones, right? When Indiana Jones came out earlier this year on PlayStation, last year on Xbox. And it was, I thought the audience was not going to connect because does today's audience really relate to Indiana Jones? That was the question then. I guess the question is, do we have that with Bond? And now with Bond, there is no actual character or actor, if you will, that is the single like remaining factor. And I have it here. Shout out to Zone. He says Sean Connery. He goes Roger Moore. What is it? Timothy Dalton, Pierce Bronson. There's so many that it's like, does the audience really connect one-to-one with that character? You're describing Bond because they've always made him that same character as he went through. Does this early Bond, like prequel, does that hit there or not? Does that hit that mark?
See, I actually think it's not quite the same because it's that Casino Royale thing, right? He's like a blunt tool. He's still learning. I don't know if he's even a 00 at the beginning of the game. From the first mission, it sounds like he might not even be a 00 yet.
He don't have that title yet.
He don't have that title yet, exactly, yeah. So, you can see he's feeling it out. He's already not following the rules. He's already acting on impulse. He's not going to be that kind of like slick unit that we're used to. It's going to be a bit rough around the edges. So I like that personally. Only unlike Daniel Craig, he's not as much of a force. Daniel Craig's whole thing was like he's so physical, and when he fights, like you're going to get bust, like you're going to get beat down. Whereas this one is more towards the kind of slick side. And, even when he's walking through the corridors, the girl's like, oh, I'm going to leave an extra mint on his bedside table. So, the idea is like the girls like him, he's handsome, so I think they're going to lean more into that, which is great for me. Like, I love that kind of stuff. But, to your point, like Mission Impossible does globetrotting, right? It does really cool arenas and different locations around the world, but they're usually a bit more like action orientated. And even when they have like opera houses and things like that, it's not quite as lavish. Whereas Bond, you'll go to like Monaco, you'll go to friggin' like the most expensive casinos and hotels and things like that. And I feel like even from the snippets we saw, not just during the demo, but after the demo as well, it showed like, when it was showing off the different mechanics and stuff, it showed you a few clips of the places you'll go around the world. And to me, it just had that like, yeah, I'm going to go to some of the coolest, slickest places all over the world. Mm-hmm. And that really appeals to me, especially when we haven't had an Uncharted game since, 2017 now with Lost Legacy or whatever.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
So I feel like there's a gap there right now. So 100%, it's a day one for me. And I've got a Pro, so hopefully that irons out some of the issues, and maybe by then we'll get the FSR 4.
I just find it interesting that you and Jack made I'll tell you, a lot of the stuff you guys are saying, I'm like, oh, yes. Maybe if it was subliminal in my head, I wasn't thinking out loud, but now I see it, and I'm like, yeah, that was something that was in my train of thought. I did not put Uncharted 3 with this at all, and you guys are saying you're seeing that. As I'm watching the footage again here, that as it's playing, I do see what you mean. Now, did they say, because I don't remember when I was working when it was aired, so did they literally say anything about how this would be more open world, or what we're seeing in these are all just part of that level design, you have to get through this part and then this is over? Or is it more of an open world type of game?
the way I took it is that it's a bit like Hitman. It's
Okay.
was it wide linear? So each you'll have a section that you'll load up,
and it's fairly large sandbox.
Yeah, but it'll be really large, and you'll be able to tackle it in different ways and things like that. Which personally for me is my preference. But Jack was saying like Uncharted 3, it gave me like Uncharted 4 vibes as well, because the whole heist section reminded me of the Italy heist in Uncharted 4 when he's with Sully and stuff. There's the big auction house.
The auction house, yeah.
Yeah, and if anything, parts of this were even more elaborate, the actual interiors and stuff, and it had more rooms and more different methods to take it on, and so if it has that element of Hitman, maybe it could even like have a bit more of a sandbox gameplay than even an Uncharted, because you can choose to get into buildings or whatever in many different ways, brick people, schmooze people, break in, climb up shit, like set things on fire, whatever, knock people out and hide them, or so I'm looking forward to that, but with like a James Bond twist.
Okay, so let me just throw this question out, and I'll start back with Jack. Jack, think about this question for a second as I read these two super chats. A lot of people were saying the set pieces where they had like the big red barrels that you blow up was bringing people back to like that last generation feeling, right? The way the set pieces were. Jack, I'm just going to read a couple super chats while you think about that. Highlander says, having a great weekend playing indie, loving it. I believe Indiana Jones and the Great Circles DLC also came out or is coming out this weekend. I believe I saw that. So shout out to Highlander. I appreciate that. And Brian E says, the intent of the state of play was clearly a look at gameplay more than graphics. Based on that, I think they've done a great job. But we'll see. I'm sure this won't be the last reveal before launch. I agree with you, Brian. This is not going to be the last one we see. And I appreciate the super chats, guys. A lot of games to buy really helps. Jack, what do you think, though? I mean, right here you can see. I don't know if timing is hitting everybody the right at the same moment I'm seeing the footage, but there's footage right now that I'm showing from it, and it's just in order for Bond to get through this area that's heavily populated with enemies, you've got to hit these ridiculously loud red barrels to get you through. Again, going back to like 360, PS3, Xbox One, PS4 era type of idea here, nothing really outside of the box there. Is that something that kind of sets it back a little bit, or no? That's that's game development. Let's just let's play the game and enjoy it.
Just looking at the game, like, and this is not a critique. This might be a positive, actually, for me. Really, it does give it's given the most extremely polished PS3 game or like 360 game you could ever see, bro. Like, and I'm saying like that might be why it wasn't impressing me, but at the same time, I do enjoy games from that generation, right? Yep. I actually prefer PS3, PS4 games to some of the games we get in today. So. Maybe they taking a step back with the what I mean. Maybe I mess with it. I just wish I liked even with Indiana Jones, right? Not a big Indiana Jones movie fan. Tried to play the game, and I got to like an hour left in the game. I just dropped it. I'm like, I don't really care, bro. Like I'm done with the game. So I don't know if I want to do that again with this game. Not give it a fair shot, but I just don't know. I kind of want to see more of it, man. I just need to see more.
No, that's totally fair. So, all right. So, Jay Barry, let me start with you. Now we're going to get into the spicy stuff a little bit here because a lot of people online are feeling this. Go ahead.
I don't have an issue with the red barrels. Okay. And I feel like most gamers, they don't have an issue with the red barrels. Because most of these gamers, they dumb as hell, man. They don't even know how to pass a tutorial. So shoot the goddamn red barrel and be happy with it, man.
They should put an arrow above the barrel. I hear you.
The thing is, it just looks way too... Like, watching this entire sequence, it is so on rails, it hurts. Like, it is just so methodical. You go A, B, C, D, E. It's brain dead gameplay to me.
Like, see Death Singer, the way you describing it, that is what I'm trying to say without, like, yeah, it's like, I don't want to say busy work, but it's not really a challenging scenario, right? I guess where it's going to come in at, though, with the Hitman elements, right? Like Nib was saying, in Hitman, you could tackle something 30 different ways. Yeah, so maybe that's what we gotta look forward to as far as the gameplay. Because what you describing is like, it's like a paint by numbers. Shoot this barrel, run over here, drive the car. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. That's
and
exactly
even in this high octane action scene right here, like I said, they have a very similar element to like Uncharted 3 in that plane scene. But they added another layer that you could get to control the wings of the plane. So you're actually using some type of dynamic element there on top of that. So I don't think it's going to be as brain dead as Death Singer, saying, yeah, maybe that scene right there, is point A, point B, but they are adding layers to it.
Oh, I wanted to clarify this scene by here is what I dislike. Let me clarify that before after my statement. The context to it is doing this A, B, C, D, E sequence where everything is by the numbers. I absolutely hate it. So that's why it's kind of like, I really don't like this. But in other gameplay, you see him setting up the traps, you're using the gadgets, you're taking down. It looks like there's multiple ways into the building. So it's not, I know it's not the entire game, but that particular part there, I really dislike in video games. And if there's multiple of those, I'm just going to inherently probably dislike the game overall.
Yeah, I think you made it. And, Jack actually kind of refreshing there when he said, let's not belittle some of those 360 games. You take a 360 game, a lot of those are fun to go back and play, and this does look like the most polished version of that. But I think it's more than that too. I'm not saying it's a 360 game by no means. I want to make that clear. But I do think that it needs an element that we haven't seen. Like if you blindfold somebody and you take off the blindfold and you saw that action sequence there where he was jumping on the plane and you're like, is this Bond? Is this Mission Impossible? Or is it a new version or a prequel to Indiana Jones? The answer could have been all the above. That's the thing. I just wanted to see it kind of step out a little bit. I think hopefully it steps away from the Hitman series and does a little bit more. From what I'm seeing in this scene here too, especially the airplane scene on, I think they're trying to take the sets and make these sets bigger, make them grander, and do more with them. And that's the hope I have. But like to go back to, is this a day one for me? This is probably not a day one. It would be get it on sale or see if it ends up in one of your favorite services, right? Check that out one day. So Jack, right, like that, Jay, you got to do a plug for that. All right, Jack, let's get to it real quick. So then before this could even get a final review by some of the great gaming media out there was already rumors coming out saying, stay tuned for September. We're going to finally see Wolverine. So Jack, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see something in September that let's leave Intergalactic out of it. Then the rumor mill just started going crazy. I don't think you're seeing both of those in one state of play. Do you think we see Wolverine this year, or is that something that Sony waits and holds off to probably sometime early next year for a fall release on that game?
I 9 times out of 10, usually I write off there's an upcoming state of play rumor because we get them every few weeks, right?
Me too, yeah.
Jeff Grubb says there's a state of, and it never happens. It never happens. But this is my guy Tom Henderson, Insider Gaming. He tends to be more inclined to, what he says usually ends up happening. So, we're approaching I think if it hasn't already passed, we're getting eerily close to the 4. It's been almost 4 calendar years since they've shown this game. They haven't shown it since that last show. What was it? 2021 in September, October, whenever it was. So,
yep.
I can only pray, man. I can only pray and hope that we see Wolverine this month. I would be ecstatic to see it. And somebody in my Discord, they even made a comment. They was like, I don't even want to see no gameplay. You can just show me the release date, bro. Like, we done waited 4 years, man. Just tell me when the game coming out, bro.
So
I would like to see a new trailer or a gameplay demo, cool, but just let me know if the game coming out in the near future, man. That's all I want to know at this point, bro.
So here's the thing. So even when that footage was released and leaked, not with Insomniac's permission at all, whatever that was, that break that they had there, and I saw that. What was that was pre-alpha footage. Jay, yeah. I thought that looked even pretty damn good back then. Remember we saw the Wolverine climbing up the wall using his nails and jumping through the window, like just absolutely ravaged, like 8 people, like going crazy. Like there's a lot of potential here for this game. I'm kind of with Jack with that. Jay, do you think if you just get a release date in like just a 20-minute or 15-minute, because I don't think they're going to go deep dive into it yet if they plan for this thing to come out holiday 26. So, I mean, what are you expecting? Or like Jack said, do you think this is just kind of a rumor that's going to go by the wayside?
You talking to me, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. So yeah, I think this rumor is like one of those common sense rumors. Like it's a great educated guess.
Back to back state of plays. You think? I mean, I don't. August, September.
Yeah, because I mean, the game hasn't been shown in a long time. It feels right. It's one of those feel right type rumors. September is also Tokyo Game Show.
Okay.
And around that time, I want to assume that there's also state of plays. The thing is, the last state of play that we got is a more direct, a video game deep dive. It's not like a state of play like the original state of plays where they're just showcasing a whole bunch of games. But like when I was reading the rumor, and it is coming from Tom Henderson. Tom Henderson, why his rumors are kind of viable is because he has like a connection with like YouTube or something. So if he's saying something like, okay, this game is going to be shown,
you think
this thing is going to be there,
you think he might have seen something?
Probably seen that. He might have seen that in like whatever code or whatever is already scheduled or something like that in there. So I hope it's true. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Jack said early in this space, I've been saying since the beginning of the generation, I want to see more showcases from PlayStation. I want them to talk about their first party games, regardless if it's going to be delayed or it's taking a while. I miss the days of like dev diaries and you constantly talk and just the lead up to the game coming out. I like that stuff because it keeps you in notice and it keeps you talking about the game. But, PlayStation this generation, they be on this 2 months down the line, let's start promoting about the game. I'm not the biggest fan of that. But a showcase gets people hyped up, gets people talking. The things that we're excited to see and want to play, you get to see that. And I think that's a great thing for them, and it's a great thing for the community. So, I'm down for a state of play or even a showcase. If it's true.
Well, that's when Jack started going to the calendar saying it's been a while. I thought he was going to refer to the fact that we haven't had a showcase in a very long time. And now,
that too.
But Jack, I'll tell you the truth, and I know that I think we've all, even on X, people, this ship has sailed. Like I don't think we're seeing a showcase. I think we're just going to see variations of state of play, right? So we've seen state of plays that represent third party. We've seen state of plays that represent first party, right? They do one for like Ghost of Yotei. They've done things for separate games that came out. They've had now this one here for 007. If they have one for Wolverine, back to first party, and then they've had like indie and third party relationship type of states of play. Nib, what do you think when you hear these rumors? Because I know you do some deep diving as well, Nib, on X and what the truth is. Do you think we're going to see something next month?
So every time we've had these rumors, I've always said like I think they're bullshit. But I actually think this one might be legit. One, because like Barry said, Tom Henderson has much better connections. He was right about the Pro. He was right about the Portal. He was right about the Slim. He's been across the board multiple things he's got right well ahead of everyone else before there's even been whispers. So yeah, I do think he probably is credible on this, and he's not the only one. There are a few other journalists who have said like they think they're gearing up with some other games to showcase as well, and even bloody what do you call it? The guys behind Soros, who was it again? Who did
Housemarque?
Yeah, Housemarque. They put out a tweet a couple of months ago where they said they will show more of the game towards the latter half of the year. So the stars do. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be like a showcase type thing, but it certainly sounds like that from behind the scenes. Because I've heard from one journalist that we're going to see more of Intergalactic. Obviously, Tom Henderson saying we're going to see Wolverine, and then Housemarque themselves has said we're going to see more of Soros before the end of the year. So either they'll spread that out between a state of play and the Game Awards, or they will have like a showcase type thing. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be in September, although that is the rumor right now. But yeah, I think that the cadence at which they are now announcing things is starting to pick up. And PlayStation does this thing where like a lot of generations now, like with the PS4 and the PS3, the latter half of the generation is actually usually the strongest. It's when all the like stars align and all their technology is in place and everything. And, they can bust out some heavy hitters. Obviously with the PS3 they had the GT6 and Last of Us and so on, PS4 as well, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, Dreams, etc. So it could be the case that it's here as well. We got Santa Monica's new game, we got Saros, we got Tokon, we got bloody Intergalactic, and then there's a few pieces,
and then there's obviously Corey Balrog's game that we have no idea what's going on there. So but see, when you say that though, Nib, there's a couple things that come to mind.
There is another rumor.
What's the other rumor?
The rumor, again, I think it's from Tom Henderson, is that it's a Metroidvania God of War game. But it might be with a different character. I'm not sure. But they kind of did experiment with that whole stuff and with the whole like what's it called with the Returnal and Hades style of gameplay. What's that? Is it Metroidvania?
Roguelike.
That's
Roguelike,
roguelike.
yeah.
Oh, roguelike,
They did-
roguelike.
Yeah, they did. So it might be roguelike Metroidvania. And they did kind of already experiment with that with Valhalla. So I don't know. We'll see. But I remember what's his name, Jason Schreier. He said it's not a new IP, although it could be regarded as one, which makes me think again. It kind of lines up like it probably is going to be characters or universe that we're used to, but with like a different spin on gameplay. And unlike with like God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, Cory Barlog has already said they're really excited and impressed with what they've done so far. I don't know if you guys know, but the previous 2 games he did, even though they were great, actually, I don't know if he did Ragnarok. I think it was 2018.
No, he didn't do. He did 18. Yeah,
he didn't do Ragnarok. Yeah, he did 2018. He thought like it was a mess before it actually, like a year before launch. He thought it was like in a really bad state, and that it wasn't well received. And then towards the last year, they basically polished it.
Yeah, but you know, the thing is, though, Nib, when I hear things like that, some people would take that information and run with it and make negative news out of it. But like, to me, I hear a perfectionist there. You know, I think that's, and I understand a lot of people are not going to do a 1-to-1 here, but the same thing that like even Kojima said before Death Stranding 2, he was like, you know, I went back and changed it because people liked it too much. Like those folks, they want to do a certain thing. I think Neil Druckmann has that same sentiment. But I mean, my question originally to you was when you said when you said those games that may be there, and you gave perfect evidence of different tweets that could correlate to that would to me represent a showcase, right? And you should put your first party on that pedestal. The thing that's the curveball that you said that, and that's not even in my notes. I wasn't thinking about it because I don't think of it that way. The award show, the VGAs or whatever, the Video Game Awards put on by Jeff Keighley, which I enjoy them. I think they're good representation of the industry, and it puts gaming in the forefront for a lot of people that may not watch it and see what's going on and get some new people into gaming. But the thing is, now you have Microsoft, you have different third-party teams like Take-Two. You have EA, and now you have PlayStation that are now holding back some of their shows so that they have 1 or 2 bangers to show, right, on Keighley's show. And if you're going to wait to show, further, something that Corey's working on, or you're going to hold off and show Saros there, or you're going to hold off and show Wolverine there, it does reduce your scope for a showcase, in air quotes, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things they have to take into account, and I think that kind of sucks. I think it should be a PlayStation showcase versus worrying about the VGAs, but they have to have representation.
I don't disagree, but the thing is, now the Game Awards, the viewing figures are like they're like triple what E3 was. So it's one of those things where, while I agree with you, it's almost getting too big to ignore now.
It's too big. Yes.
Too big, yeah. So, like, you're not. What you really gonna? That's 100 million viewership or something like that now. Like, are you really gonna like ignore that? They could. Obviously, like their own shows and state of plays already do massive numbers. But yeah, I would think, or what they could do a showcase, and then they could show more of something at the Game Awards. To like more gameplay or a deeper dive or something like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely could see something like that happening as well. I was kind of hoping that we would get a showcase. Detzinger, what do you think before we move on? Is this the September rumor? Does it hold weight with you? Because you're not always believing what you read, Detzinger.
No. I mean, you have to show it to prove it. There's been hooked with so much, but like they need to start showing shit, right? Because they started the gen off with a lot of big hitters, right? You start the gen off, you drop your, you got Ragnarok, you got Forbidden West. Like, you go, okay, here's the big hitters. And then you sit in as soon as they release that, now you have to give them 6 years, right? Or whatever it is to pump out the next game. And unfortunately, like, Bend, they got shafted. It'll be wild. If Bend releases no games this generation, that'll be crazy. So hopefully, Insomniac is their shining star, though, because Insomniac works quickly, right? So I'm assuming, Insomniac's pretty good. So if they'll probably have Wolverine ready to go. Because obviously, you have to make new assets now, because obviously you can't recycle some of the previous assets from like Spider-Man 1 to 2 to Miles Morales. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll happen. I think they will have a showcase. I think Saros will be at the Game Awards, and they'll have a showcase on its own for Wolverine. I don't think they'll both be at one show. They'll have a state of play for Wolverine, and then Saros will be at the Game Awards. Or vice versa. Wolverine
it's
will be
funny.
At the Game Awards, Saros will have its own state.
If you want to put weight on the scale, I would do the vice versa. I would have Wolverine at the Game Awards, but that's me. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, that Saros it may be that much more of a complex type of Returnal, but I mean, Wolverine has been that you know what I mean, that game that everyone's been waiting for, and if that was to launch on Keighley's stage, I think that's a big deal. But I don't know. Like you say, Tom Henderson's got a pretty good track record, so if he's saying that's what's going to come, I do think that's the case. So let me do this again, because we got a lot of great topics tonight. Jack, I got to ask you, I sounded off last week, and it's listen, I've been gaming a long time, you've been gaming a long time, okay? And when you talk about the 2D, what is it called, the metroidvania type of games, like there's probably none in the near future, in the what do you say, maybe the last 5 years that has made so many titles and headlines as Silksong, right? And now Silksong's out, and everyone's playing it. And we use the metrics now of Steam, but everyone's playing it on all the big streamers are playing it, which gets people that, I mean, there's thousands, there's 40, 50, 100,000 people watching some of these streamers, and like, oh, I love it, it's $20, I'll go grab it. So the numbers escalate. Jack, what's your take from Hollow Knight to Silksong, where we are now? Did you buy into the hype? Are you playing this game? Is this game you're picking? I mean, $20, you really can't argue. The money's not the problem here. The question is what makes this 2D Metroidvania stand out outside of the plethora of other Metroidvanias that are out there and available to play right now?
That's actually a really good question, Mooch. I own multiple copies of Hollow Knight, right?
Yep.
And I've started the game multiple times, and it's just certain things about that game that I cannot stand.
Yep.
One of them being the fact that to see where you're at on the map, it's a like you got like perk slots or whatever. To see where you're at on the map, you got to use a perk slot for that. I hate that about that game. I also hate that they separated fast travel with saving the game, but everywhere you go is right next to each other. Then you got to pay for fast travel. It's just certain quality of life things that I hate about Hollow Knight. But I say all that to say I do like the game. I wish it clicked with me more. I'm probably gonna end up trying to start it again and play it.
Mm-hmm.
But in Silksong been 7 years in the making. Every game and event that you watch on YouTube for the past 7 years in Twitch, 90% of the comments where this is in Silksong, announce Silksong, where's every freaking comment, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, and when I'm like, this got to be capped. This got to be the new brain rot. This got to be the new meme trolling. I'm like, it's no way in hell when Silksong finally come out. At that point, it was like vaporware. Right? I'm like, it's a meme. The game never coming out. And then I was like, when it do come out, I need to see this game do gangbusters.
Yes.
People talking about it, or it's pure cap, right? But then it launches today, and it shut down every storefront that it was on, bro.
Yeah,
so it's like, and then $20, great price point. The game is doing numbers, bro. Like,
yeah, it is.
So this is gonna be, and we was talking about on Webwood the other week, games we think is gonna get nominated for Game of the Year. I think this just might have earned the spot. I ain't gonna lie. With the high selling, and yeah, man.
So everything you said, I do agree with it. Listen, I wasn't being critical last week. I was just asking the question because, like you said, with Hollow Knight, like there's just the parts of the map that were just very same thing. Started it, stopped it a million times. Jack just never really got through it. But like you said, when Silksong came out, I was like, when this comes out, forget the price tag, because I mean the price tag makes it very, very. It's encouraging. I'm right after the show. I'm encouraged to just go on and pick up the game. It's $20. Right, we haven't had a game that's $20 that's been a good quality in a very long time. So that's an amazing price point, and it may get a Game of the Year nomination. Whether it wins or not, that's another conversation altogether. But I don't know. Like I'm just, Jay. Nib, you're playing it, right? Is Nib playing? I should actually check. Nib's
I am playing it. Yeah.
He's probably playing it right now, breaking rules 1 through 5 of CrossFire. But nonetheless,
No, I'm not playing it right this minute. I'm playing Blueprints right this minute.
He's playing Blueprints again. That gets you so frustrated, Nib. Don't do that during the show. Gets you angry.
Oh my lord! I'm telling you, I can't beat this game, and it's not even the puzzles. It's not the maths. It's not the puzzles. It's the bloody rooms. It's like I'm always getting blocked off. Like whenever I'm trying to get to a certain spot, I just don't get. I need to switch it up, but I'm experimenting. Anyway, going back to Silksong, like I'll catch some ire for this, but okay. So the art style is really pretty, and the controls do feel nice. And
Yes.
I don't know what the new character's called. Like I do like that she's a bit more acrobatic, and she has like the diagonal attack instead of like the down attack, etc. Don't get me wrong, like it does feel fluid, but I do not get the like. So maybe I'm just not far enough, and it will really open up. But it doesn't resonate with me in the same way that other games of the same ilk have. Like if I think to like Ori, for example, like just from the characters, the movement, the art direction, the pace at which it throws new mechanics and stuff at you, it just engages me a lot more. And I find Silksong, even though it does feel really nice and look pretty, it's just a bit more dreary and I don't know, like less expansive. Like from like I'm not seeing magical greed. I'm seeing people that you talk to, but they don't give me the same awe I have in other games, or even in Hades. Like I know Hades is a very different type of game, but in the 2D indie ilk. So yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I'm enjoying it, but it's not blowing me away. And actually, like certain things about it, I don't know, kind of annoy me a little bit because like there's so many different pathways, and you're not really sure which way to go, and you can go the wrong way, or you can, find yourself going back to the beginning, and like some aspects of it, I find like just a bit tedium. Like there's a bit of tedium there. But again, like I'm very early. I'm only like an hour or two into it. Like that's not really, and maybe not enough to get my teeth into it. But again, like the last few like 2D platform type games I remember playing, the cadence at which it unlocked or gave me new things or more interesting audio visual things, whether it's characters to see or like the worlds, the environments, or the move sets or whatever, I just felt they had a better cadence of. But then again, this thing is like almost like a cultural zeitgeist right now. Look at the numbers it's doing on Steam, like 500k plus. It's crazy to me. Like, I'm just like, damn. Like, I wish Ori had this kind of support because Ori is like one of my favorite.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I played through both Oris to completion.
There you go, Ned. This is why the Xbox people don't like you, man. Why you got to bring up Ori? Why you couldn't say Astrobot? Huh? You know what I'm saying? I see what you're doing, Ned. I see what you're doing, man.
I always say that I'm like cursed with Xbox because anything I end up really liking ends up fucking dying. It's such a weird thing. Like, oh yeah, fucking finally, Xbox has an amazing IP in Ori, and they fucking ditch it. And then like Hi-Fi Rush, I was like really high on Hi-Fi Rush, and then they canned it. I was like, you know what? From now on, I'm just gonna say I hate it, and then maybe they'll keep it alive.
But honestly, so Jay, Nib made a couple of points, and he's playing through it, and he's early on, so this is not a full. But like the main thing I would like to see after a game, especially after waiting 5-6 years or however long it was for this game, is to see that natural progression. And from what we're hearing, is there anything? And by the way, this is also for the audience because I know a lot of people in the audience are playing it. Because they're like right now, I can see them in the chat. They're like, "Oh, I'm playing it. I bought it." What stands out in Silksong that's not in the original Hollow Knight? Like, where did it make a separation that you were like, that was what I was waiting 6 years for? That was it right there. That's it. And I just find it fascinating. The other thing is when you see 500,000, the game is $20. It's been talked about for nonstop. Every single showcase we've had, or any type of summer show we've had, or any games, summer game fest we've had, right? They've been like, well, we'll see Silksong. We'll see Silksong. It's become like this like, I don't know, like this like profit game that never ever was going to be, and now it's here. I don't know. I also feel like is there people are also jonesing to play a new game right now, right? And for $20, it's a no-brainer. So a lot of that plays into the 500 plus that are 1,000 that are playing. That's a large number, but $20, that's a pretty good entry point Jay, is this something on your radar? Did you like the first Hollow Knight? Like I said, the map and the way that they actually had progression in Hollow Knight, that just kind of was very tedious. And I'm not sure if they really changed that for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have nothing to say about Hollow Knight. I do own Hollow Knight. I was looking at my library earlier. I was like, okay, I do own the game, but I just never got to it. So it's not unlike any of my priority lists. Like I'm clamoring to like play the game, but eventually one day I will play. Cause I do like metroidvanias, platformers and things like that. So I just can't speak on it right now. But at the end of the day, a small game like this, whether you don't really understand it or not, I think it's just great that you have a small game that can cultivate that much people or popularity for people wanting to play the game. So at the end of the day, that's what we really want for video games anyway. Whether it's small, big, people having that same attitude that, hey, I might not be interested in this game, but everybody's talking about this game. Oh, everybody got good things to say about this game. Oh, let me try it. And that brings more success, and that brings more games like that people can get to play. So I don't really have nothing really to say other than I never played a Hollow Knight yet, but maybe one of these days I'll get to it eventually.
Shout out to infamous Alien or Atlan. He says, do PlayStation shows ever talk about PlayStation? It's literally Xbox every week. Infamous, are you just reading the title and typing, or are you listening? Literally, the first 45 minutes has been about the
state of play and showcase.
The state of play, showcase, and what we think and what's going to happen with PlayStation.
So far, I told you, Nib mentioned Ori for 1 minute.
1 minute.
Say, that's the whole show.
That's a wrap.
I think these guys are like diseased or something.
So it's crazy, man. It is crazy.
Do you know what the disease is called? I know what the disease is called. It's called insecurity.
It might be. I don't know what's going on, buddy. But hey, listen, Infamous, hopefully you hang out for a few minutes and listen to the rest of the show. Death Singer, what do you
Mooch,
think?
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, no, go ahead, Jay. Please. Oh, yeah.
When did your show become a PlayStation podcast?
I'm still looking for the notes on that. I'm not sure when that actually happened. Listen, it's funny because one of the things that I try to do week in and week out is we try to get a different panel all the time. Listen, it's hard to have a rotating panel, but we try to get a panel all the time that's different folks from different shows, and it's fantastic. I love getting different opinions on here, and not just that. If you guys all, Jack, you got it. Jay, you have it. You guys all have them. I sent you the notes. The notes that I sent you guys and all the topics are legitimately headlines from the past 7 days. Those are headlines from the past 7 days. There's nothing there that's my opinion or what I think. These are the things that I can, and I have articles for each of them. So, and they've all come out in the last 7 days. I like doing weekly news. Now, sometimes you guys know we do have slower weeks, but as we ramp into September with all the games coming out, this is not a slow period for news. It's just not.
Hey, Mooch, it's always the people that don't host a podcast, don't have their own podcast, trying to dictate or tell people how they should run their own podcast. Shut your ass up and listen to the goddamn show.
I always say that. Podcast. I say enjoy the podcast.
Hit the like button too.
Or start yours and send me the link and I'll be there. And then I'll critique you. You know what I mean? I'll be like, you know what you're forgetting? No, Jay, great point. Death Singer, what do you think though when it comes to Silksong? Because I know that this game. Now he's going to say no. I know he's going to set me up here, but this game's you're going to pick it up at some point. That Singer,
I've already got it.
You already got it?
Yeah, Singer, you play games?
This guy is quick.
Hey, Barry, word on the street is I play video games.
Death Singer, you're playing Lost Soul Aside, which we're going to get to in a minute. You picked this game up. You're in the middle of another game.
Why wouldn't you pick it up for 20?
See, this is what I'm saying, guys. This is what I'm talking about. $20.
PC game was just like cheap shit, basically.
Yeah, it was cheap, so he said, I'll pick it up.
That. For one, I was looking forward to Silksong anyway. And as I said on last week's show, I prioritize games that I want to play. Other games can, like Assassin's Creed Shadows and Monster Hunter Wilds, hit the backseat because I wanted to play Expedition 33. Like, I would play Expedition 33 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 over Assassin's Creed Shadows and Monster Hunter Wilds, right? Because I prioritize what I want to play. Now, Lost Soul Aside was my priority, so naturally it goes in front of everything else. Silksong is a priority, so now, after Lost Soul Aside, I'll go straight into Silksong. So, I have to formulate...
I'm the same way, Singer. I'm the same way. I prioritize, like, what I want to play before FOMO don't affect me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I play what I do play.
Like I could wait for a sale on like Assassin's Creed Shadows. You know, I ain't tripping about missing out on it. I'm not. You know, it doesn't hit me that way. But if I missed out on Expedition 33, oh, I'd be kicking my ass down the street. So you know, it's that kind of thing. And yeah, I picked it up, and I think Silksong always separated itself a bit more from games like Ori because I know people joke this like it's the Souls-like, it's the Dark Souls of the Metroidvania game because obviously in Hollow Knight, you know, you died and you went back to what you'd call a bonfire. You know, you'd lose your shit, you have to go recollect your shit. Similar Souls type, like Silksong. From what I've been told, it's a safer sequel. It's a safe sequel. It doesn't really do too much, but it improves on the combat. From the looks of it, it looks a bit harder as well from the first game, and the first game was hard anyway. So,
Pause.
Yeah, pause. I think they're sticking with the whole. This is the Souls-like of the Metroidvania. Like this is your quintessential Dark Souls. Some people compared it to. I saw some people said this is Sekiro. Silksong is Sekiro, and Hollow Knight is Dark Souls. Or you know, Silksong is Bloodborne. It's that kind of thing where it's in the same.
Who said that? Who said that? Singer, point them out, man. So
Jay wants.
What do they mean by that? Explain it to me.
It's not quite Dark
I played
Souls.
both of those games, and I'm trying to understand.
Which dumbass said that?
I
Singer,
don't know.
expose them.
Hey, Barry. It's the usual suspects. Shout out to GameSpot. Shout out to Rock Paper Shotgun. Shout out to Eurogamer. Shout out to all of you guys. You know, compared that's who was saying it.
Man.
You know, I was seeing it. But you know how that goes. But these are things they were saying. Now it is a ridiculously hard game. Well, pretty hard. Like for a lot of people, you're probably not going to beat the game. I'm just going to keep it real, even though it is in Game Pass. I can't wait to see what those percentage numbers are.
They don't have a dev mode.
No.
Yeah, so how is this game so popular if you don't have a dev mode? Normally, the popular games they got the easy mode. Well, you know what? Souls games is popular. My bad. I fall back.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, it's a popular genre, but I mean, the art style's great. It's a good-looking game. Like, it's gorgeous. Like, same thing I thought about Ori. The thing is, I think Ori looks a bit better than this game, artist style-wise. So I think it just hits it, but this seems a bit more gritty than Ori. Ori is all, you know, it gives you that cuddly, warm feeling, kind of, whereas this gives you the "I'ma break your balls" kind of vibe. So, I mean, take it where you want. I can't wait to play it, but I have to finish Lost Soul Aside first.
So, you know what's funny? So, Jack, I'm going back to you real quick because I want to hear what you got to say. And I know I'm older than you, Jack, but like someone here, Hugo, he goes, Mooch does not enjoy Metrovanias. That's not true. It's not that I don't enjoy them, Jack, but like the thing about it is that you go back to NES, SNES, okay? Like 2D scrollers was like, that was just kind of how I grew up, right? So my point with all that is when a 2D Vania comes out, and honestly, I think like Shinobi came out recently, and that game actually does look fire. That looks good. And by the way, guys, let me just say, Silksong looks great. It looks great. There's no critique on the game. I was just curious why this particular 2D Metroidvania style game is getting the hype. Is it the price tag? I mean, is it the nostalgia? But Jack, it's not that I don't like them, but you've gamed, and I watch, you know, shout out to Jack. But Jack, by the way, since last time you were on the show, you have been doing Twitch more, which is phenomenal, by the way. Thank you for that. But Jack, you play a lot of these games that are 2D scrollers. Like, there's a time where you kind of just get like saturated with it. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I've done this. I did that for the better part of my youth. So it's like when I see these types of games, it's not that I don't have respect for them, but then it's like I don't necessarily have that hype factor. Does that make sense, Jack, or am I just being salty with the whole situation?
No, I get that. I'm with that. I'm with you with that as well. Like, why is this the specific game that got this type of like? Because I like Metroidvania, so like Guacamelee 1 and 2.
Yeah,
two of my favorite games from like the past 10-15 years, and I mean, people didn't go batshit insane for those. So it's like, I don't know. I see. So I get what you're saying, and yeah, we started gaming on. I started gaming on the NES, so all I was playing was side scrolling games growing up. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I just think it's the age though, Mooch. I think that's what it is, bro.
That's fair.
We getting older, man. Like we already been through a lot of this stuff, man. These new guys,
Yeah,
it's new to them.
It is new to them. That's true.
Everybody posting their screenshots on their TVs and their monitors. I'm playing Silksong. They got their little handhelds, their Steam Decks. I'm playing Silksong. But you know what they're not going to post? That end credit scene of Silksong. That's what not gonna
Hollow Knight, man. That joint it ain't easy, bro. It's not easy. I give it that.
No, it's definitely not easy.
It's not a short game neither. Definitely not a short game.
No, it's not. And so a few people are asking me in the chat, like, Mooch, you're doing the news. Do you have this? I'm like, absolutely, I have this. So let me just read Babor real quick here. Babor says, Yote in 30 days, less than 30 days, or no, he says 30 days, pardon me. PTO in. He goes, also F Titoki and Hulst for PC push. Babor, a big PlayStation fan. Not
respect to that, man.
Not a big fan of what's going on. Babor, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Thanks for the super chat. So I'll throw this out there. We don't spend a lot of time on it.
I like people that speak from the heart.
Well, listen,
shout out to Babor.
You know Babor, Jay. That dude speaks from the heart. Trust me. Shout out to Lucci Sky, who's here too. Appreciate you guys here. JC 2013. So the new PlayStation, there's a new PlayStation 5 Slim coming out, less memory, same price. So how's this? All right, that singer, go ahead, take it away, buddy. Is this bothering you? Probably not. But what do you think about the whole thing?
No, the worst part is people are going to buy this shit, right? That is the worst part. The worst, like they will sell you it, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you want this though," and it's like, "Oh, sure, yeah, I want a PS5."
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll go home and then you'll be like, hang on a minute. The PS5, when it first had this much memory, what?
Mm-hmm.
And see, it's what crazy is they'll do it, but they won't get pushback for it, right? You'll see people defend it. And I don't know how you could defend having less memory for the same price. If they cut the price, okay, fair enough. I could give it to you. The fact you didn't even cut the price, it's like, what are they going to do next? They'll give you the console, but they'll sell you the controller separately? And be like, oh, well, here's the console. There's no controller in the box, so no, you have to pay $100 for that separately. Like, it won't end. Like, you can start to see their business practices coming in.
I do see the frustration, Death Singer, and Death Singer. Jack. I just want to, because Jack, you've been pretty vocal about stuff like this online, and I want to get your take on it because Death Singer makes a really good point. And I'm not even going to counter that. I'm just saying, if you look at the other side of the aisle, you have the Xbox Series S that debuted at $299 for 512 memory, right? And then they came out with a 1 terabyte, and they jacked the price up. Now, PlayStation saying, "Hey, prices have gone up. In order for us to keep that price there, we're removing this out." So you'll get what you used to get, but what is it, 825 in memory instead of the 1 terabyte? But at the same time, the price will stay at $499 versus the $550 for the 1 terabyte. There's no defense here. All I'm saying is Xbox did the reverse. They said, hey, listen, you want more, we're going to charge you more. PlayStation took it out. That kind of sucks. But in order to keep people wanted that $499 price point, that's how they were able to do it. I don't know what's going on with these companies because it's weird, right? Because Jack, also a 2 terabyte Xbox Series X is like $750 or something, right? Or $700. Nib, you have the numbers. You can prove me right or wrong on that. $730 for a 2 terabyte Xbox Series X. No other advancements in the box at all as far as capabilities.
Before all the
that was before
get all upset.
Yeah,
it's a special edition. But if you want a 2 terabyte Series X, there is no base 2 terabyte Series X, so you have to buy the regular Series X and the 1 terabyte expansion on top, which is even more expensive.
Right.
So, you don't have a choice. Like if you want a 2 terabyte Xbox, you either have to upgrade it with the proprietary drive, which is worse, or you just buy the special edition. So yeah, you can say it's a special edition, but they have not given you an alternative that is actually more affordable.
Yeah. Listen, in New York, you used to get a slice of pizza, right? For like $2, you get a slice and a soda. You know what I mean? And people were like, no, I want it to go back to $1 a slice. So they're like, fine. Here's $1 slice. We're getting rid of the soda. You know? Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Jack, I'm not defending it. All I'm saying is if prices have gone up, And then they're like, "Wait, you still want to keep it? Is it bad?
It's BS. It's BS.
Well, no, Jay, it is bullshit. Jay, it is bullshit. But what I'm saying to you is,
PlayStation 5 launch. It launched with that storage of the 825.
Yes, that's where it launched.
And it was cheaper. Yeah, I get that price going up, but the fact that you have a 1 terabyte, now you're removing a 1 terabyte to go back to the 825. You're not lowering the price because the 1 terabyte costs the same, right? But they're probably going to disconnect this. They're going to discontinue the 1 terabyte and sell the 825
for the 499.
It's a shitty practice at the end of the day.
It's a shitty practice, and the real question here that people are looking at this and they're questioning why did the prices even go up? And I mean, Nib probably has the analytical on that, but
so they went up because they're still making a loss on the PS5. So we have 2 data points. Kepler, the AMD leaker, he said literally just 2 weeks ago they're still making a small loss on the PS5s. And then in their last fiscal year report, PlayStation themselves in the fiscal year report said they're still making losses on hardware. So that's the truth. They're doing it because prices have just not come down.
I thought there were reports going back a year or two ago that Sony was starting to make some money on their actual console.
No, so in 2021, there was a report that they're starting to make money on the digital. But then, post COVID, post chip shortages, they went back to being at a loss, and that's the same for all of Xbox as well. So that's why they increased the price as well. So Xbox moved the prices up to maintain some margin, and PlayStation was still making a slight loss, and now obviously they want to go back to making margin.
So Jay Barry, let me ask you a question, Jay. So you heard what he just said.
I'm trying to figure out who the chat say don't understand business. What you do for a living? Let me know what you do for a living. Who don't want to? But go ahead, my baby.
No.
I rage up here.
No, go ahead, Jay. Finish your point. That's fine.
No. You good. Go. Ask the question. My bad.
Well, the question is like if the prices. Listen, it wasn't like Sony did it alone. Xbox did it. PlayStation did it. From what we're seeing in what came in the box with Switch 2, right? A lot of people are online saying that there hasn't been a graphical or major leap from Switch 1, and that price went up to $450. Right from the whatever they were what were they charging originally for the Switch, the first Switch? And I know that I'm just to give, it's not the same apples for apples because that was 2017, but you know what I'm saying? Like my point is like they went up. So if everybody on this panel right now is in a boardroom and you're like, well, we have to go up because we're losing on this, and then somebody in the panel says, yeah, but you're going to lose a lot of customers if you go up. People like that $499. That was that was the sweet spot for this generation. They're like, well, how do we do that? That's how they determined to do that. Jay, we could sit here as we're the consumers. It is bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. But at the end of the day, if everybody went up. So if what PlayStation said was we still want to have a $499 price tag, that's what they did.
I get your talking point, but the thing is, at the end of the day, they're coming out with a different SKU that is less. They already have a SKU out there that is the updated price for 1 terabyte, but they say no, we're going to change it. We're going to revert to launch PlayStations and give you the 825 for the same price that that you're paying now. I'm pretty sure once they do that in Europe, because I think this is only in Europe, they're going to discontinue the 1 terabyte, because why would you have a 1 terabyte for whatever it costs over there and an 825 for whatever the same price? That's not going to be, nobody's going to go for no 8 whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure one of them is going to get canceled out, and this is going to be the 1 terabyte. That's what I'm saying is a shitty practice. Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is not confirmed though. This is just a rumor.
It is a rumor.
So
it's a rumor.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they showing like the SKU numbers and all that.
I think this is one of those where they say where there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm going to buy into it right now. I mean, Jack, is this? I mean, from a consumer standpoint, we're all sitting there. We're the ones pulling the wallet out and then paying the money. So it is bullshit. Jay's not wrong. But like at the end of the day, when you sit there, is this Sony trying to save face with a $499 price tag, or you think this is just them? It's just greedy capital BS.
Back in my day, well, you know, growing up, man, and this got to be the first generation where usually game consoles get cheaper and they increase the storage, right? Since they've been supporting storage and stuff like that. So, and I think multiple things can be true. Yes, every gaming company is doing this right now. Yes, it's bullshit, but I will never. A lot of people get mad at the things I say, but if you actually go back and read all the things I say, it's always been pro-consumer. I never say anything that's not pro-consumer, right? So I want the best for us, right? This don't necessarily concern me about the PS5. I'm concerned about the PS6 going forward, right? I didn't even know they were still selling PS5s at a loss. So I'm thinking the PS6 is either going to be what it really need to be as far as power-wise, feature-wise, and it's going to be an astronomical price, or Sony going to do some cost-cutting bullshit, and we going to get an underpowered PS6, and you know what I mean?
They are doing some like, not trickery. It's not a bad thing, but basically it's a 3-nanometer process, so it's already much smaller, so it's not going to need as much a heat sink, as much material, as much die size, as much fab. They'll be able to print more boards on a single fab, basically. So that already is going to be. The other thing is the RAM they're using. It's not GDDR like 7 or whatever it will be by then. But it's a different type of like RAM, LD something. Anyway, whatever. It's like super fast system RAM, and that apparently is significantly cheaper. And what's his name? Moore's Law is dead. He did like he had the BOM reports from another piece of hardware. I think it was a laptop, which had the pricing of the RAM, and it was actually much cheaper. And obviously, going forward, is expected to get even cheaper. So just little things that they can tidy up on the cost, basically.
So, I mean, listen. It ain't great, you know what I mean? There's nothing great about it. I don't know. This has been the wackiest generation as far as scratch your head up at the corporations and what they're doing, and some of the things that they're saying, some of the moves that they're making. They're very unorthodox from what we're used to. But yeah,
it's the first generation where we're losing features, but we're paying more as we lose features.
That's true. That's true.
They're streamlining this whole PlayStation and PC thing.
Yep.
And people are claiming that they don't care, but if you really look at it, how they sell you the PlayStation 5 to what it is now is completely different ballpark. You know what I mean? Like I put the comparison to like there was a picture going around about McDonald's and how it looked back in the 90s and the early 2000s, and now how all these restaurants look just bland and plain and everything the same.
I've seen that.
That's what they're trying to streamline everything. They're trying to make the experience of the PlayStation console similar to how the PC. So if you transition, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Hey, J Bar, you remember last generation when you hit that share button, Ustream will come up, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter.
Yep.
Now you hit the share button, it's like, hey, bro, we'll send this to your PlayStation app, man. it's gonna be there for 14 days. I don't know what you're gonna do with it. Like,
you decide what you want
to do something with it.
This is crazy, bro.
It is wild.
The thing is, though, this like games are taking even longer to make the last generation. The last generation, the dev time was pretty long anyway. So it's like games are taking longer, but then everything's going up in price, but then you're not getting as many features. So it's kind of like you're getting fucked on all sides, and the industry is not much you could do about it on console, because like on the PC platform, you know, if you're like Nvidia's charging,
you're getting fucked there too, dude. The prices there are astronomical.
Oh yeah, you are getting fucked, but you also have options. But you also have options, right? You don't have to pick the latest graphics card. You can still have a good time on the previous gen or the previous gen. Like, nothing has to be up to date.
Dubious. Yeah.
Like, well, no, not dubious. It's like you look at like a 4080 and you'll still outperform a 5070 or whatever. Like previous gen, plus also you have AMD.
But how much is a 4080?
Oh, fuck knows. I haven't looked in ages. They are expensive,
especially because of crypto and everything like that. And
but that's also another option. But you still have choices. Whereas console, you don't have a choice. They give you the box and say this is the price, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah, but that's singer. When you do have choice on PC, but the choice of reducing price drastically reduces your output. So so when you sit here, you'll watch a PS5 Pro thing, Dessinger, and you'll tweet out immediately like, "Look at this garbage," and it's like, but and it's like, well,
he's a hater, Mooch.
He's a hater.
No. But then again, Mooch, that comes to the option. See, you're missing part of the context. Whereas PC, you build it for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
If I want 1440p,
yes,
I don't have to spend as much as someone who wants 4K.
But you're paying more than a PS5 Pro person.
Exactly.
You are. But then I'm 1440p ultra settings, 120 plus FPS on all my games.
You ain't getting no ultra settings. That's knock it off.
You're not doing that.
Yeah, you are getting ultra settings.
You getting high settings. You getting high settings.
You're getting high.
No. You're not. Because you're not. Because thing is, like DLSS, shout out to DLSS, super superb. But also you have other tech, right? But that's the thing. It's like I could get ultra and I could turn off ray tracing. Don't need ray tracing. Ray tracing's that buzzword. But it's like you build for what you want, so the price is flexible. Like there isn't a one cost for a PC. PlayStation.
I mean, you have options on the console side. You can trade in whatever. You can wait for a sale. Obviously, you have more options on PC because there's more storefronts and that sell that stuff. But you're making it seem like consoles don't have an option. But I get what you're saying. No. Yeah, it sucks that consoles price going up. I'm not trying to defend or whatnot. But
no. But it's like they're taking stuff away from you, but still raising the price on you. It's as you just said about Jack has just said when he hits the share button, what you used to have versus what you have now, they're not the same thing. So
I don't disagree with that, Dessinger, but I would say that's basically the same I would say it's the same with life and in general. Like I go out to buy a fucking orange juice now, and I swear down a fucking Tropicana that used to be £2.50 is now like £6, like £6-7.
Yeah,
a kebab.
It's happening across the board.
Yeah, across the board. Yeah. So, and I feel like because I've been actually interested in building a PC rig, and actually every time I look at these GPU prices, I'm like, God damn,
they gonna click that up, Nib. Oh
man, because I remember back in the day, I used to pay like for the top GPU, it was like £500 to £650. Now the top GPU is like 2K. I'm like, what the hell is going on? That's one component, man. Like, and then I look at these motherboards, and if I want say I actually want what's in the PS5. Say I want spatial audio Atmos built-in. I don't mean software Atmos. I mean hardware Atmos, like an actual piece of computing that manages all the 3D audio and all the processing and everything like that, so my CPU doesn't have to do it. If I want a motherboard like that with Wi-Fi 7 or Wi-Fi 6E, those shits are like £200-400 just a motherboard, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like even like mechanical keyboards and stuff, like a decent mechanical keyboard, everything is outrageous. Even like I was going to get a steering wheel as well, a new one. Look at like Fanatec and stuff, and the new GT wheel with the like impulse, and even they've gone up to like £1,000 now, and it's just like, so I get what you're saying, but we have to be fair. That is happening literally across the board. Like, yes, you can buy cheaper hardware on PC, but it's not going to take you very far, basically.
Well, the thing is, you could get cheaper if you shop around, because not everything is made the same. Like a Gigabyte versus an Asus. Like an Asus will be £100 more than a Gigabyte. But,
yeah, I get that, but then you can go on Craigslist or eBay.
The thing about it,
buy
though,
used old gen PS4.
Yeah, no,
listen.
This is very bespoke the way you do it for PC. But it's just you're not losing features though. Like, yeah, the prices are going up, but they're giving you more shit now. Yeah, okay, you could say frame gen's a lot of bullshit. You can say that, but at least they're giving you some extra features. Whereas you're losing shit whilst having the price raised on you.
Oh man.
So do you not think the PS5 Pro is? Yeah, because the thing with PS5, I think there's definitely negatives, right? The price is it's especially bad for new consumers, right? But as an existing consumer, as a launch buyer, it's actually worked out in my favor. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but like I bought a PS5 at launch. I sold it for the same price I fucking bought it. That's crazy, dude. I was expecting to take like a half price dump on it. Usually when I get the One X, I get the PS4 Pro, like, you lose money on it and then you have to buy something more expensive. This time,
when it comes to me, I love the Pro. I will always recommend the Pro. I think it's
100%.
It hits its mark as far as what they're promoting. But what I want is how the PlayStation 5 started out. Now with the Pro hardware. When the Pro came out, I'm over here. I lost my cards. I lost stars. I lost receipts. I'm losing. You know what I'm saying?
On the Pro though, I was gonna say, like, because I was having this discussion the other day with someone. I think people forget the Pro is 2 terabytes. So let's say you now with the new prices buy a PS5 digital, right? For argument's sake, you buy the digital $500, and you want 2 terabytes on it. So you buy 1 terabyte, SSD that matches the spec of the PS5. I think they're like between $90 and $130 or something. So add another $100, and you're at $600, right? So the PS5 Pro is only actually 25% more, like $150 more, and you get significantly more performance. So, like, obviously not all games. Some games are less, they're doing less than others. But in a lot of games, you're getting the fidelity mode graphics or image quality or graphics settings, but at double the frame rate. That's actually more of a theoretical boost than even the PS4 Pro. Because I've had that with multiple games this year, like Assassin's Creed Shadows. I had the RTGI in the 60 frames mode. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It has all the fidelity mode settings, even bare IQ. PS5's 30 frames per second mode, but at 60 frames per second. So, like, again, like real world performance wise, sometimes you get banger of a difference, like more than double the performance, basically. Like, obviously not in actual compute, but in real world. So for me, like 25% more for that, easily worth it.
The thing when it comes down to it, and Detzinger made a couple of points, but I say this all the time, and I think it's important to reiterate it week in and week out, is we're in a community, we're in a bubble where we have console gamers, PC gamers, we're all together in these conversations, and we talk about it, and the more you go in and out of it, it makes more sense. I do get what Detzinger's saying. You can go shop for your cards. You don't have to buy those. He says, Nip, you don't have to buy those. You shop here, you can get these parts less. You can get a box from a friend, or a case that you're that's on the cheap, right? The thing is when it comes down to it at the end of the day, and it kind of is a great segue into the next subject, is when it comes out, when you think about your coworkers, your family, aunts, uncles, anybody who wants to pick up and get into gaming, they're not going to do the PC parts list that Singer's talking about. Will people in the community, people in the chat, people listening later maybe do that? Possibly. You're a hardcore gamer and maybe you want to experience PC gaming. I'm not saying that's not for you. It may be for you. It's not necessarily for the masses. I think a lot of people, that's why you still have tremendous console sales. And a great little segue into this is, where do I have it here? The gaming media is doing what the gaming media does, right? They're out there again. They're like, consoles are dying. I have such a bad feeling about what's going to happen with consoles. July console sales kind of prove otherwise, And it's like when you stop and look at it, did you guys see, I think it was Chris Drang that said it. He was talking about, I think it was more of a fear of his own. He was just saying something, and I have it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. I've become quite pessimistic about the future of game consoles. It's seeing younger generations come through PC and older generations move to mobile. I mean, that part I don't. I've been gaming for a long time. I'm not moving to mobile. All while platform holders are struggling to innovate, increase prices, and shift towards multi-platform. Well, the shift towards multi-platform, again, he really the one thing that he's honing in on that he's not necessarily wrong in his feeling is the Xbox brand. The Xbox brand has gone completely multi-platform. And when they say, he says, well, platform holders are struggling to innovate. And it's like a lot of the PC games that Detzinger's always like, yes, I can't wait till that comes to PC. They're on console first, So I don't know what he's...
You PC fanboy?
No, but listen, then Hunter, shout out to Hunter who's on X. He says monthly worldwide hardware sale estimates for, this was July 2025. Switch 2, 1.5 million. PS5, 787,000. Switch 1, 251,000. And Xbox Series, 132,000. That's not a jab at anybody. I'm just saying those are healthy console numbers. And there's no big game that came out during July for there wasn't an exclusive that came out for PlayStation in July. So it's like, I don't necessarily agree with the doomsday effect that a lot of people are starting to say now about console sales. I think consoles are, and next year when GTA 6 comes out, a lot of these guys are going to have articles that are like, holy shit, consoles are alive and well. It's like,
yeah. So here's the thing, right, Mooch? Like, I don't personally understand it, because at the prices that these consoles are, they actually have no right, or at least the PS5 has no right to be selling the way it is, in my opinion. I think it's insane that it sells as well as it does, where it's basically the same as a fucking early adopter launch price. Historically, the late bloomers, they wait till consoles are much cheaper, $200, $250, etc., before they jump in. So I can't believe it's even tracking the same as the PS4 or just a little bit away. And then the Switch 2, which is $450, and the games are expensive, etc., accessories are expensive. That is absolutely destroying all previous records. Like, it's laying them out flat. So, yes, one platform is doing a lot worse in the console space. One platform is tracking roughly the same, even without a GTA 6, even without as many first-party heavy hitters, and even with an astronomically more expensive price. And the other platform, even with a higher price, is doing record numbers. So me looking at that data, I cannot conclude that things are really dire from consoles, because the data doesn't show it to me. So I was really surprised that he said that. Like, sometimes I feel like these journalists, they get in this little club of repeating the samey shit. And it's like, but it's not necessarily supported by what's going on.
To be honest with you, I kind of get where he's coming from, because at the end of the day, when it comes to the consoles, nothing really is not setting itself apart on a unique level outside of, it might have a game that is not going to be on another platform for a couple of months or to a year. That's the only thing really that's going on. As we see how the gaming culture is moving on, streaming is getting more popular. And what do you see anybody streaming from a console? Nobody's streaming from a console. They're streaming from a PC. So as you lose these as you lose these exclusives, as you lose these features, what is gonna incentivize people to be like, oh, let me go and get this new PlayStation 6 or this new PlayStation 7, where I can just get my PC, get the games that these consoles are going to have,
Hold on.
I can also just stream from there.
Let me answer that real quick. Jack, you take it from here. I got one word for you, Jay, and that's price. Go ahead, Jack. Price is going to determine that.
I think what they mean when they say console market is shrinking, it's not getting any bigger. They're comparing it to mobile. Mobile is so expansive. It has way more, you know what I mean? You're never going to catch mobile when it comes to gaming, especially now. And then you got console games that the most popular console games are on mobile phones now. The Fortnites, the Apexes, the whatever you want to name, the Roblox of the world, they're on mobile, right? And gaming is not getting any easier to get into. If we're being honest, it's actually getting more expensive. It's a more expensive hobby than it ever has been.
That's right.
So, and along with the PC market, PlayStation and Microsoft and Nintendo. Oh yeah, we don't see PC as a rival platform. It's a complementary. I don't see how. I don't see how you putting your best games on the platform, and you're actually actively encouraging people to get a PC. PlayStation just did a series of tweets earlier this week. They're promoting straight PC hardware. Elevate your game on PC with these new headsets. Here they got a monitor division, like
streamlining.
They're going out of their way to push their users to PC. The window is getting shorter, all that, bro.
Where would you want to play? Like, I get the console price is cheaper to get into, but a PlayStation game that's like Helldivers 2, people will rather buy that on PC because I don't have this other criteria to play a goddamn game. Where your own platform, you have a criteria to play the game. PlayStation Plus, you need online. There's so much things that
but
now
Jay,
you're losing
so much
of these features and exclusives. it's not
See-
given a strong a selling point for the console.
No matter
If you
how
keep on
I answer this, somebody on the other side is going to say I'm wrong. So I'll play both sides. I'll play devil's advocate on both sides. I'm not saying you're wrong that we're losing the features. I'm not saying that we're kind of getting screwed over. But just like the Tropicana orange juice example Nib gave, it's that the cost thing is happening across the board. The other thing is that you have a situation where, like PC, think about people like Jack made a point to say they're advertising and going out of their way for the headsets and things like that. I saw it as well. And my only answer for that is they're just the people that I have that work with me that have PlayStation 5s. They first of all, they don't even see that ad for the PC. And if they did, none of the people that I know, and these people make a good living, they're not going to go and be like, oh shit, they're doing headphones for PC. Oh, let me go drop $1,100 real quick on that PC. I didn't know I could move my PC at my headset over there. Like, we're seeing this in this bubble that we're in, and we're like, well, this is clearly the way it's going, and right, and that's fine. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong at all. But at the end of the day, the numbers don't show that. The PlayStation 5 launched right with unbelievable shortage issues. They're trailing by 1.2 or 2 million behind the PS4 right now. That's going to change drastically next year. I just the numbers aren't there to
Mooch,
show.
To offer a bit more data, right? So Helldivers 2 is I believe 60% of its sales are on PC, right? But then you look at something like Call of Duty. Call of Duty, we know 82% of its sales were on PlayStation.
Yeah,
82%. So less than 20% between Xbox and PC. We know from the Fortnite,
the thing is with Call of Duty is a little bit skewed because majority of the people play a free to play mode where probably the consoles, they probably care about the story, they probably care about zombies, they probably care about the entire experience, so they probably buy that there. But majority of the people are not playing Call of Duty on a console. It might sell there.
I don't know if that is actually true, but I mean, let me just go by Fortnite, right? So we have the splits because of the Epic case. I believe it was 68% of revenue was from PlayStation, right? In fact, the PC side revenue was so low that they actually lumbered it in with Android. So they put Android and PC together as 10%, right? So yes, certain games definitely do better on PC. Like we know Monster Hunter does a lot better. But then look at the last 2-3 games. For example, what's it called? The Mafia game, right? 58% of sales. Yeah, 58% of sales on console. So I really think it's just a genre and franchise thing. Like I would say based on the major publishers, like the EA, the Activision, the Ubisoft, etc., actually the majority of them have higher revenue on console than they do on PC. And even when they, in the last time they actually reported these splits, PC used to make up 20-25%, and the rest was consoles. It has been growing a little bit year on year. There are certain publishers that do better on PC overall, like Capcom, but it's very close. But the point is, most of them do better on console. But I think what people forget, the reason the splits are kind of in favor of PC is because large portions of the world just haven't adopted console yet. So a lot of the PC revenue around the world is made up by the Asian markets, China, etc., where PC is massively dominant. Obviously, PlayStation is trying to change that, but it's going to take them a long time. But because when you add those Asian markets and those kind of other games, League of Legends, etc., into the mix, that really changes the flow of things. But in terms of the Western markets, etc., no, I would say actually.
Can I say this to finalize my point real quick? I'm not disagreeing with y'all as far as I don't think the console is dying, but I can understand where Chris Dringe, or what's his name, is coming from with his point, because like I said, there's less incentive going forward to buying into the console other than the price. Price is cheaper. You get a cheaper cost of entry, but the uniqueness, features, exclusives are going away. And those are the things typically, especially from my understanding growing up, that's what people buy into these consoles that set themselves apart. where they will buy into these consoles, and the fact
Exclusives-
that everything is being streamlined,
Exclusives going away is not. That's still not a thing, because Xbox did it. That doesn't. And you see 2 games from PlayStation, and you see the other games. The other games that are all going to PC with an 18-month, 12-month, 24-month delay. It's not the same. Like when people talk about the new Spider-Man game that came out, and people I know that don't have PCs and they had their PlayStation, and they were like, "I'm going to go get that." They weren't like, hey, you know what? They took away a feature from me. Now I can't share my pictures on Twitter. And a headset that I have is also available on PC. And I can get this game on PC in 18 months. I'm leaving my PlayStation. Like, there's still and the entry.
But
we sit here and talk cost.
You're talking in the now, Mooch. I'm talking about
the hypothetical future.
Yes, it can lead up to what Chris Street. That's why I say I understand.
What if
if you're using present day. We don't know. I'm saying if you're using present day, of course, the argument, what I'm saying, it's not going to, make any sense. But I can see a future. Not saying I want this future. I saying I can see a future where, as PC is growing rapidly, and more people that it's streaming, more content creators that are streaming, they're not streaming from no console. They're streaming PC. They're streaming these games from PC.
They are. It's true.
This is what this future is seeing. PC. My nieces and nephews, they're young as hell. They're not asking for a PlayStation. They're asking for a PC. Young as hell, 12 years old, asking for a PC. That's what they're being cultivated to think about. This is where gaming is going.
But Jay, here's the thing. So I do agree with what you just said right there. But literally, no joke, 10 years ago, all my kids and all their friends were all saying PC. They were all watching the big streamers. Do you know what all of them play on? Console. Because the minute their parents saw that PC price, they were like, not happening. You heard Nib. Nib is more than capable of buying anything he wants. And he legitimately said, I looked into buying a PC, building a PC, and he was like, nah. Like that, I'm not saying you can wish in one hand.
I'll tell you why.
It doesn't mean that that's going to happen. I understand that, and we're in this bubble where it's like a bunch of. And shout out to Blessed Red. I love Blessed Red on the show. We gotta get Blessed Red on the show. Like he's like, well, this and this and this, and the things he's saying, I don't disagree with Blessed at all. I really don't. But the thing about it, at the end of the day, the reason that a lot of people are still playing on console is that price point, that entry level price point. And that's when we sat here and we're like, wait a minute, PlayStation dropped increased the price by $50 and this and that. But to get what a PlayStation 5 base model gets you on PC, you're over the $499 mark. You're over the $550 mark by a good amount. It's not like it's a $75 difference. So my point being is, and then when you see what it costs to stream, listen, I do streaming here. Like it's not cheap. Like, and there's no way somebody who's like, do
you see what it costs for you to play the game on a cheaper console? You're paying more for the game. You're paying another service to play the game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
if it's free to play.
Well,
also,
there are a lot of the games, and that's I'll give you the mic. But a lot of games, Jay, that you say that kids are watching people stream are free to, like what Nib just said, they're free to play. So you don't have to pay PS Plus if you want to play Fortnite, Apex, Warzone, any of the, like, you don't have to. Like, I understand your point with a couple of them, especially on PlayStation, like outside of multiplayer with Call of Duty. But a lot of the kids right now, they're not playing multiplayer. They're playing Warzone. They're playing Fortnite. They're playing those games. And that's why the mobile numbers are skyrocketing, right? They're playing Warzone on phone. They're playing Fortnite on phone. It's like those are the numbers, and everything kind of gets skewed. And you can make any fear or any conversation about it, but at the end of the day, until you see where the PlayStation 5, let's say that at the end of this generation, the PlayStation 5 falls 25 million to 35 million consoles short of the PS4. If that happens, then guess what? I'm right there in your corner, Jay, and I'm like, there's definitely a major shift happening here. But I don't think we're going to see that.
Hey, Mooch, the thing is, here's the funny thing. Generation 7, the 360 PS3, Wii, more consoles were sold then than the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch generation. So, in total, you combine all three manufacturers, they sold more consoles back in the previous gen, not the last gen gone, the one before that. So, if you're not increasing the total amount of consoles between PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, you add them all up, and you are still not beating this number. That means you're not. It's not growing technically because you're selling all these consoles.
I saw that
to the same
argument.
people who are already in there.
I saw
But
that argument.
That's a factual statement.
That only works if you ignore Switch, because this generation, as in from the Switch One, Xbox One, and PS5, will actually be the most consoles ever sold in history. Right.
What,
but obviously it's slightly...
The Switch, you mean the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One, right?
No, the
Switch with the Series X and the PS5. Well, we'll see at the end of the gen if that comes to true. Because if the PS5 cannot beat the PS4 or matches it, they haven't increased. And if the Switch,
it will be enough.
If the Switch does what the Switch does, and then Xbox is selling less than the previous gen, you can't make up those numbers. So I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this gen, you don't sell as many consoles as you did the gen before. Now, obviously, that's on Microsoft and Xbox, but you're just not growing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's the asterisk.
Whereas I understand PC is growing because Steam keeps hitting every single year. They keep hitting a new landmark. Like, it hasn't been going down. Steam, in the total number of users and concurrent users, has been going up every single year now. They've been doing it for years. Every single year, it's a bigger number, a bigger number, a bigger number, a bigger number. And a lot of the analytics, PC's market
that's not actually true. So, I mean, we obviously Steam doesn't reveal their user, the total concurrent numbers anymore, so we don't know that side of things. But actually, in 2022 and 3, Newzoo showed that there was actually a PC decline, and now there's a PC increase in 2004 and 5. But the thing is, like, and what's his name, Matt Piscatella has spoken about this. All revenue growth between consoles and PCs is always cyclical, and it's weird that people haven't realized this yet when it happens every single generation. Basically, towards like the tail end of when consoles are towards the tail end of their generation, revenue always starts declining or stops tapering off in growth, and PC starts to get more growth. And then when new consoles launch, things start reversing again. So obviously the Switch was at the tail end of its life. PS5 and Xbox One are coming to the second half of their life. That's why the period right now is going to see worse revenue. But obviously Switch now is selling gangbusters. And when the PS6 and new Xbox, I don't have much hopes for that selling really well, but the PS6, when that comes out again, the revenue growth will be invigorated again, especially if all the leaked documentation, which was exactly true last time, if it's true again this time, and PlayStation in the design documentation keeps reiterating that cost is a super important factor for them. Like, they believe they haven't transitioned PS4 over quick enough. And a lot of the customers that have PS5 now are actually new to PlayStation. So in order to bring people over from PlayStation who haven't moved over, they're cognizant of costs. So that should also, push things forward again.
Well, yeah, but to Chris's point, it's like, it's not really like PC's growing, mobile is growing. I don't know if mobile's growing. Who the fuck knows? I just know, like, because they announced they 132 million. Because everyone loves monthly active users, right? PlayStation's really hasn't been going up that as much as they want. Xbox keeps touting 500 million, whatever the fuck that is. But then it's like, okay, so everything is increasing on PC market share. So it does go to the point where Barry brought up, where like more people are going there, because with the PC, if you want to get into streaming, that's the way to go. Console is not the way to go if you want to do streaming. Like, if you want to do content creation,
there's a market to sit here and have a discussion about streaming going up, and that's great. I think streamers, I encourage more people to stream games. I think it's fantastic. But to sit here and say that the majority of gamers are they're not. You know what I mean? Like, even if the number is massive,
that's a niche. Yeah,
yeah, that's insane.
No, but it's just another reason. If you want to get into it, that's the way to go, right? If you want to get into content creation and stuff, you're not going to pick up a PlayStation or streaming.
You remember streaming? You remember streaming on a PlayStation 4?
Yes.
Compared to a PlayStation. That's why I brought up the streaming aspect, they're not incentivizing or having the features like how you had prior.
That's right.
Where it would encourage people to be like, hey, I can just stream
That's right
from my console.
That's
they're
correct.
Not improving the streaming experience.
They
on
did
the
not.
console. They're
They did
lessening
not.
it. That's what I.
But
that's what
I mean,
that's what I'm trying to.
But you know,
out.
but Jay, I'll give you. But just to be fair, I have a very capable PC. But at the same time, when Death Stranding 2 came out, I streamed from my PlayStation, right? Like, so you don't. Yes, I didn't use the functions on the PlayStation. I use a capture card in a streaming PC. But like, when you say, but yet you say that, but you also said in the same breath a few minutes ago, people are streaming now and they want their PCs. Well, you can get a PC.
The reason why I brought up the PC because Death Stranding is going to be on PC. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you're going to spend that
but if
much
you
money,
care about streaming, and you know this, Jay, if you care about streaming on your channel, you're probably not going to stream a game that came out 2 years ago, whether you're on PC or anything.
But majority of the games is already on these platforms anyway. The only reason why I brought up the whole streaming thing is because of like everything is already there on the PC where you can do your capture card, you can stream right there from the PC.
Right.
The thing is why I brought it up because, like I said, the console side, I love gaming on the console. I'm with you as far as I don't want the console to die down.
No, it's not
I don't
even.
think it's dying down at this moment.
It's more the latter part. Yeah,
we are losing features more and more.
Yes.
Where it's not. It's when you look at the console compared to other platform or like PC, you're losing so much. It's like, yo, what is the uniqueness of like buying into the console other than the price, and you get some time exclusives. You know what I mean? That's what we're really.
What do you think are the features that we're losing?
Jay had mentioned stars.
Sharing features. The card system, what was unique to PlayStation. The community features that was unique to PlayStation. I
don't think most consumers care about that stuff, dude.
That's why they got rid of it. Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, but that's on the community not using the. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with you because I use the cards. I like those types of things too. I like stars.
I never used it.
I used it a few times, and I actually liked the stars program. I thought was pretty damn good, to be honest with you.
I used the stars program, yeah.
So Jay, you're not wrong. This isn't a like Jay's wrong session. The only thing is that when we're talking about the grander scope of the. See, when we talk about PC, everyone's like the grander scope of PC, but then when we talk about console, we're like looking through a you know what I mean, like a microscope, and it's like that's not.
No, I'm not saying he's wrong, but what I'm saying is I think he's looking at enthusiast gamer perspective. So enthusiast gamers would care about these sort
absolutely,
of but
as they should.
J-Bar?
Go ahead.
Look, this is what it is, J-Bar. In 2013, Sony had a good reputation, but they was like, it could be better. And Xbox ain't got the best reputation right now. Let's show the gamers we care, right?
Bingo.
But now you got people running around saying they're making more money than ever and the most successful. They was like, you know what?
Yeah.
We got them where we want them. We ain't got to get e-boy shit.
That's it.
Yo,
Jack, I literally had that as one of my points. Is there's no competition. We say it all the time, but then when something happened, no one goes back to it. Jack, you said it right now. Sony's looking around and saying, "Wait a minute, we were spending money on all this community stuff, right? We were putting money into this. We were paying Twitter because of that. We don't need to do that no more." There's nobody. Yep. There's nobody picking up the slack on the other side to make us look bad. We don't look bad. We're still putting out, and and don't get me wrong. That's not defending Sony. It sucks. It flat out sucks. But we say it all the time. There's no competition.
Listen to this common sense comment. I swear, people look at it from their own perspective. Where am I supposed to look at it from? Are you playing the game for me? Are you experiencing the console for me?
The thing about it that kind of breaks my heart is that Jay's right. Jay is right. There's nothing wrong about what Jay is talking about at all whatsoever. The thing is like this is unfortunately where we're at. Apple's not going to step up. They're not going to make a console. Amazon tried to make a console. They failed in 2 years. Stadia made a run. Let's not talk about that. Where are we,
bro? When these companies realize they got you. Look at Netflix, right? Yeah. They say you want to watch something in 4K. We need about $32 a month.
We need some more money.
This is the thing. This is the thing, right? And this is why I was so against consolidation. And I don't mean consolidation Xbox. I mean consolidation PlayStation, Tencent, anyone, right? Because the thing is now, when PlayStation has 22 fucking studios or whatever it is, and Xbox has 37 studios, right? For a new incumbent, like say Apple did want to come in to the console space, well, they can't just come in now and just pay a few multi-platform developers, because they have to compete with 22 studios worth of IP at a minimum. They have to compete with 37 studios worth of IP at a minimum. And that is just too prohibitively risky from a cost perspective. They're just not going to take that risk because, and that's the problem now because of consolidation. Obviously, Xbox is kind of becoming a multi-platform publisher, and PlayStation, they've got it cozy. They've got the high performance console space all tied up at the moment, and Nintendo has the fucking, the portable space all tied up. Obviously, PlayStation, by the rumors, going to go after that market as well, which is the only competition we could get. But we're in a really bad situation right now.
Yeah, when people were saying, I said this a long time ago, Nib. Nobody listened. I said we used to joke about it on MNC in the mornings. People were like, "Cut the cord, Let's just stream everything." This is a long time ago. We're going back 2013, 2014. I said, "Don't do it. Don't." Now you are literally a la carte every show, and then even when you have a show that you like on AMC. Have you guys ever signed up? You're like, "Oh, I have AMC," or maybe you have cable where you have AMC on demand, and then you find out that it's on AMC Plus. Are you kidding me?
I've dealt with that recently.
Jack, it kills me, buddy. It kills me. Everything. So now I got to not only have cable, now I got to have not only the subscription, I have cable, the subscription, and Plus, Jack, to watch one show. Now people go, "Mooch, you can just cancel it, but give me a break."
Bro, the last 3 movies I've tried to find on stream, and they all been on AMC Plus. I'm like, you give me a fucking break, bro. I streaming service I don't got, bro.
It's killing me, man. I hate this.
God,
cut the cord. And listen, and the same thing, I said this, and this is a great segue. We'll get into what the one developer was saying. It's the same reason that I'm not a big fan of what Game Pass became. I don't like that. It went from $10 a month to $16 to $19.99, and if you believe all the rumors that are going on, it's going up to $24.99. It's going up again in 2026. I shouldn't put a number on it because people go, "It's not going to $24.99." Well, it's not going to go from $19.99 to $21.99. It's going to jump up $23.99, $24.99. They want you at that $29.99 level at some point. At some point. And that's the part where people go, "Well, Game Pass." You don't hear the Game Pass is affordable thing is really great for someone who's using that and only that. I agree. Great. It is the cheaper way to go. But if you happen to have another console, or you play on PC and you don't have PC Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate, it's not necessarily, you're paying $20 a month right now, and it's going to go up again.
That's not. See, the thing.
I'm talking about console. I'm talking about console because you're going to say 12. I know.
It was cheaper.
But that's Singer. Guess what? Let's be fair, right? Everything's relative. So it used to be $5 for PC Game Pass. Now it's what? $12.99.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
PC,
and I fully expect it to go up.
Of course it will. So once console goes to $25, PC will be at $19.99. So I understand PC guys. Well, I get it cheaper. You do get it cheaper for now. Eventually, it'll be so close that you won't even feel that. That's the point. That's what
by the time it gets so close, you'll lose the people that are subbing to you. Because if you think about it, EA and Ubisoft. If you're an actual smart consumer, they have their own subscription services, but they don't advertise it or they don't talk about it enough. But it's when Assassin's Creed Shadow comes out, it's you could pay the $70, or you could pay the $15.99, go onto Ubisoft Plus, play the game, beat it, unsubscribe.
Yep.
You just play the game now for $15.99, but those services are only available on PC. But it's or if you want to play an EA game, just sell it to Jedi Survivor, right? I played and beat the game for $15.99.
Yep.
Shout out to EA Play Pro, right? I didn't spend the $70 or whatever other people spent on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people can utilize it in that way, but obviously they're going to keep increasing the price because all subscriptions are going up in price. It's it'll be $40 at some point, I'm guessing. They're just going to keep jacking up the price.
Yeah, that's my whole point. I got a couple super chats here, then I want to just change subject here. So shout out to Danelle Brown. He says Sony's acting like Apple. Absolutely. So Apple's been doing this for a long time. They've been getting away with it too. They took the damn plug out of the box. Pretty soon the phone's not going to be in the box. Nonetheless, Glassdoor Gamer says, why does the number of consoles need to grow when revenue is skyrocketing? It's still ahead of PC, which includes gaming equivalent to the mobile space. Steam market cap is small. Why do PC gamers lie? They're not lying. They're giving you consistent numbers as of right now. And PC numbers are going up, Glassdoor. It's not that those numbers are going. This is not a PC bash by no means. What my discussion point is not the essence of doom and gloom on the console. I still think the console has an unbelievable market share within majority of and I'll only speak for in the US household. I don't know. I would assume it's doing very well in Europe too. You know? So, I mean, it is what it is. And then Glassdoor says, Mao doesn't matter when revenue isn't reflected. It's like eating empty calories. Stop capping that singer. Gen Z is console heavy. Well, he's speaking for Gen Z. There you are.
The thing is,
Who said that?
That was Glassdoor Gamer.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's right.
He said all that. Yeah, the profits are the most it's ever been because people are spending more on microtransactions. People are spending more on Fortnite. People are spending more on the free-to-play games. Marvel Rivals is probably generating a shit ton of revenue for PlayStation. Like, all these games are generating revenue because PlayStation's getting a cut from all of this shit. All these free-to-play, Call of Duty, they're getting it all over the place. So the more people playing these games, which these numbers are increasing, and there's more successful games out there, they're reaping the rewards, so that naturally their income's going up. So yes, and obviously on PC, the thing is, it's like, it's so segmented, because you could just focus on Steam, but Steam is only a part of what the total ecosystem is, because you have to then factor in, well, if you add Epic, then you have to add Steam, then you have to add the other launchers, what they're generating in revenue, and then you have to add it all up together. You're going to have to add GOG. So you're going to have to go and get all the numbers for all these people to make an overall number. So it's really difficult. So you can't make the comparison because all you got is Steam, which is a big part, but it's not the only part of the PC ecosystem.
So let me, if you guys have nothing more on this one, though, I do want to switch over real quick. And real quick, and I'll explain it because it's not, a lot of people just read the headline and they just went with that. The Indiana Jones developer, and in quotes, he says, one of the, I think he's one of the directors, he said, as for Game Pass, they jump, speaking about gamers, he said they jump in for 5 minutes and they drop out. And a lot of people see that and they say, oh, does that, now that may be because when you look at a lot of the achievements, you'll see that a lot of people they even did Indiana Jones back when it came out, a month after it came out. A lot of people didn't finish it, or then they got to like chapter 2. A lot of people do jump in and out of the games, especially on Game Pass, because it's a plethora, right? It's kind of like when people use it all the time, but they don't use the reference right. It's a buffet. So a lot of times you'll go up to the buffet, you'll get a couple of wings, you know what I mean? You get some mashed potatoes. I don't know, you get a little of this, you get a little of that. And then you look over at your buddy's plate and you're like, you didn't even eat all your wings. And they're like, nah, you know what? I'm kind of full on the wings. I'm going to go up and get some more salad. I'm going to get some more bread and some cheese. All right. My point being is, so the one thing about the developer that he said in clarity was, he goes, we try to make it so that we know people are going to jump into a game. And I don't want to put words in his mouth. It wasn't, he said it was more difficult, but they work on trying to make gamers engaged throughout the process. They don't want to make a game where it gets good in hour 10 or hour 12, because they may be concerned when you're developing for Game Pass, a game that's going to be specifically for Game Pass, that it's got to rope the person in right away. They're only playing for that 5 to 10 minutes. They're going to give it a shot. And if it doesn't get, if it doesn't impress, they may bounce. Doesn't say they won't come back later, but they may bounce. So my question is, and Jack, I'll start with you. That was his quote. I'll read it again. As for Game Pass, they said, gamers, they jump in for 5 minutes and they drop out. And we've seen that with a lot of player engagement. You see people on X constantly saying, hey, this game, and they look to see how many people have completed it on Xbox, and sometimes it's a lot lower than it should be for a great game. So as Game Pass kind of caused more harm than good, you think, not just from the financial standpoint and what it's kind of become, but also from the developer standpoint, it seems like it's made it a bit more tasking for them. Now they have to put an emphasis on the game being amazing right out the gate. Sometimes we used to say, oh, the game gets really good, Mooch, hang in there for about 2 or 3 hours, it gets good. Gamers may not hang around that long when they have a library of 300 or 400 games.
I think it's a nuanced situation. The Game Pass, for a consumer standpoint, is great, right? I'm a Game Pass customer. I enjoy it whenever I have my subscription. But we also got to look at this. We got to remember why Game Pass exists in the first place. Game Pass, whether you like it or not, the truth is the truth. Game Pass was created because Xbox gamers was not purchasing the software like they did in the previous generations. Every time sales numbers came out, it'd be an 82% on PlayStation, 12% on Xbox. You can't. That's not. I don't think that's sustainable. I'm not a businessman, but listen, I'm not a mathematician either. But that ain't really adding up to me. And now, you know, I just don't. You know, we see what's going on with Game Pass, man. The devs don't seem to like putting their games in Game Pass, and if you're a first party dev, you're forced to put your game in Game Pass, and then it also skews the numbers. You know, it's such a game had 5 million unique players and such a. Well, how long are they still playing it? Did they just turn on? Or did they just download it? Did they actually interact with the game? Did anybody actually purchase this game? Like, you know, so it muddies up the conversation. They're clearly not satisfied. They thought the numbers was going to increase greatly with the memberships. They haven't. Me personally, I don't really pay for game. Well, I get sent Game Pass a lot. Well, you know, I stream, so they send me Game Pass for free a lot of times. So I really never even purchased Game Pass, full disclosure, for more than $1 at a time. So, you know, they don't want to see the Jack moves of the world come support the Game Pass. But it's spooky, bro. It's definitely spooky.
Go ahead, Jay.
On point. Listen, I've been saying this for years. Game Pass is the community pool in gaming. Okay? That's why they footed it. You ever been in the community pool? That pool cold as hell, right? You put a little toe in there, it's like, oh damn, that's cold. they foot dip. They're not diving in that pool, bro. They look on foot dip in there. Oh, let me get my foot wet and keep it moving. Gonna sit right in the side of the pool and soak up the sun. At the end of the day, this is not me, Jay Barry. This is not Jack Move Johnny Mooch that's saying this. It's a goddamn developer that put their game in Game Pass day one, telling you that we know the behavior of our audience. Y'all don't finish no games. Y'all play tutorials and y'all pack the game up. And then y'all want to have 3-hour, 4-hour podcasts talking about a 20-minute experience that you played through Game Pass. Sit your ass down and finish a goddamn game. How a service is so good, but you can't finish one goddamn game in it?
Yeah. Yeah, the numbers show it too, Jay. A lot of them, the completion rates are lower. They are lower. Now, some of them are not as low, but some of them are low. They're real low, some of them.
Yeah. In Indiana Jones, I can see where people pack that game up. I mean, when you get to a certain chapter, it is long, but I enjoy that stuff. You know what I mean? It builds, you know, storytelling and character building and all that. But most people, they want action quick right away. But at the end of the day, it's not just Indiana Jones or Machine Games that is experiencing.
No, it's not.
We see this a lot in with these Xbox games where it's like, damn, how the completion rate is low as hell. You know what I mean? For such a great service that you got access to these games, you would think that you'll want to play these great games in there. You know what I mean? But they don't finish these games. I'm not saying everybody, because you know somebody gonna get triggered. Like, I finished my game.
I finished everything.
I'm not talking about you.
I mean, people use Game Pass for different things. Like, if you solely use Game Pass, then you're probably completing your games. But if you're like me, where it's like, shout out to Dragon Quest XI's, right? I don't really play the Dragon Quest series, but I saw it in Game Pass, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. And then I tried it, and I was like, yo, this shit's fire. So then I immediately closed it. I went onto Steam. The sale was happening at the time, and Dragon Quest XI's was like 90% off, and I'm like, banger. Bought it and then beat it on there, and it's like, so that's the way I personally consume Game Pass. If there's something I'm unsure on and it's in Game Pass, I'm like, let me try it. If it's fire, I'll go buy it because I know I could get it cheaper.
So you pay a monthly price to play a demo.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like I try a lot of games, a lot of indie games that hit.
Do you have
that
thing, or do you keep Game Pass religiously, or do you do what you do with everything else? Like, get a game, you download it for a month.
When the going was good, I did the stacking thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm good till 2027 now. Like, so you know, after that I can review it. But like, I'm just sat here like, well, this shit's just ticking over month to month anyway. You know, I'm like, whatever. It's not a worry to me. So
how the hell did you get to 2027? Because I thought that was done a while ago.
To be Kofi, shout out to You know, I'm not going to say any names, but gave me like a
Oh, you
year.
heard snitching?
No, all right.
Oh, you already said it.
What we doing?
Nah, yeah. I mean,
No,
half the people.
I
don't
just
even
didn't
know
think you
who
could.
that is,
It's not about that. It's more about just I didn't know you could stack them still. I thought it was.
He broke TOS with Kofi.
Yeah,
God damn.
yeah, man.
He said, "Like, Kobe, I can't say no names." What the hell? Hey, man.
Hey, man, it is what it is. But no, thing is, I was stacking it from before they finished it. Remember, they had the cutoff date when they were going to stop it.
Yeah, but you can only do 36 months. That stop off date was when? Wasn't that like a while ago?
I did that.
Yeah, but
a
you
while
could do it
ago.
multiple times. I did it twice.
Yeah, you could do it multiple times. You're limited to the 36, right? 36
Right.
months.
Oh, no,
you
y'all
have to
did 36 months
months.
multiple times.
Shit,
Yeah,
I didn't know
multiple
that.
times.
Oh, y'all
Yeah,
some
yeah.
sick, y'all some sick boys, man. That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yo, Jack,
Yo,
is that corporate slavery?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's like at least the one doing the $1 deal, you know. No, but like people.
These the same dudes that tell you don't pre-order games. Talking about you a corporate slave.
Well,
Look what
actually, no.
Look what they doing.
Because they might be like broken. That's a rule. Don't pre-order some games, especially Ubisoft games. But
Yeah.
that's by the by. But no, what I did was the 36 months stacked. So I now got it till 2027. So like when that ends, I could revisit: is this value for me, or should I just not renew it anymore? But until then, I'm going to use it to test out my games. So
Yeah, so here's a pathetic thing, right? My average for PS Plus is like 20 something pounds or 30 something pounds, and I stacked till like 2029. And my average for Game Pass is like 40 pounds, like 30. It's crazy because I did so much of the Xbox Live Gold scam. So yeah,
well, it's not a scam; it's an oversight. You just took
yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's good for the consumer.
Man, I
I
thought I was slick. Mine runs out December of 25. That's when my game. And I'm going to say what Death Singer's saying. The only thing is I'm going to say it 2 years before him. And that is at that point it'll be a month by month decision. Like I'm not gonna just re-up Game Pass once it's
no, 100%. Yeah,
You know?
I did want to speak on this conversation though. Like,
Go ahead.
So two things, right? So, seen so many fanboys say, "Oh, Chris String took the quote out of context," right? No, he didn't. He literally quoted the direct quote. You can always add more to an answer, but it doesn't. The what they added to the answer does not actually change the point. So their point was people, because of the way Game Pass is, they try games for 5 minutes and then they quit. And the solution to that is to design your games to hold their attention from the very beginning.
That's correct.
Yeah, but that doesn't make the first part of the answer out of context or a lie. It's actually factually true based on the developer's experience. An out of context quote is like me saying, "Oh, gamers barely play our games." That's the quote I put in the article, when the actual quote is, "Gamers barely play our games at 4 a.m. on a weekday," right? That would be an out of context quote, right?
Mm-hmm.
What Chris String is not an out of context. He literally quoted the full sentence with the full stop. And again, all he did was add the solution they made for that problem. But that also is a bit of a problem to me. Like, it's not a big deal, but you know, like some of the like best games have had quite slow starts where it's all about like building the atmosphere,
Right.
or the mood,
Absolutely.
characters, and like I do, this kind of does irritate me because I already feel like, and I hate to like insult people, but you know, this TikTok gen that we are in now, where and that's why some of my tweets are so long. Like people always say, "Why'd you bother? Why don't you just do videos?" And it's gonna sound so arrogant, but I actually like the fact that I curate an audience of people who are well read or who are open to reading and being informed, because I don't really want to engage with fucking numbnuts who can't even read more than a few sentences. I know they're never gonna be that informed, or I'm not gonna be able to hold a strong conversation or debate with them because they can't get past coloring books. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a similar thing. Like, I actually appreciate design. Like, I'm playing Blueprints right now. I'm sure a lot of people hate it and they wouldn't have the patience for it, and that's fine. Every game is for different people. Not every game has to be like that. But I do kind of worry about this future where every game that is designed with Game Pass in mind has to have that issue. They have to design around this issue.
Yep.
So they have to have this kind of like ADHD, instant gratification.
Instant
kind of
gratification,
design
yes.
instead of like just fleshing out the world and the mood and being a bit more mature with their storytelling and stuff, like, and that does bother me a little bit. And I hope, even despite this kind of like 5-minute throw it away kind of course, I hope more developers do still just do away with that and just keep with their creative intent, and instead of kind of designing around this buffet system that could compromise their design.
I don't think they're doing that, because if you look at Avowed, that's not really instant gratification. Like, you actually have to go through that game to get something done. Now, you could say that for something like maybe South of Midnight, but even South of Midnight, a Fable definitely isn't going to be instant gratification. But I don't think they're designing around it. I think they're just...
I haven't played Avowed yet, so I couldn't say.
No, it's not instant gratification. Like, they go through a long-ass monologue intro cutscene. Like, TikTok generation's already...
Okay, that's good. That's good to me.
Yeah.
I kind of appreciate.
Well, you say, but that's Singer. I guess, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is what the developers were intending, but right off the bat in Avowed, you have weapon and you have magic immediately. Like, immediately. You have everything immediately.
That's like Baldur's Gate. You have shit straight off the bat.
But I'm just trying... Listen, I think we can't take one developer's comment and then say that's what they're doing across Game Pass. I don't think that's the case. But what I'm saying to you is that thought process has now been... It's out there. If they're saying it, that means others are thinking that as well. And you may go, Avowed didn't do that. Avowed was being made since when? Way back,
Doom
right?
didn't do that. Doom the Dark Ages.
Oh, Avowed is in development for like 7 years.
What do you mean Doom didn't do that? Doom has always been... It's instant gratification from the minute you start.
Yeah, but it's not like the...
And again, I'm not saying that's what it was made around. I'm not saying that. But I'm just trying to say, like, they're now realizing that to keep the audience there, it's got to be this explosive thing really, like, early on. Like, 5 minutes may be him just, that's just him putting an arbitrary number out there. But it has to have fireworks and really grab the audience quick. Like, that doesn't happen with a lot of other games. I don't think you should have to play 20 hours to get wrapped up in a game, but sometimes you do have to put in 3 to 5 hours to get into a game. You do. I mean, that's just like, even again, use Death Stranding. Like, you can't play Death Stranding 2. Like, the whole part there in the beginning with the earthquakes and everything that's going on, and you're walking through the mountains and that whole area, like that's 20 minutes right there. Like, I mean, you got to give a game a chance to kind of build. And it's like what they're concerned with is that it's losing their audience. And I'm just saying, that's the way I read the article. That's the way I'm reading his words. I'm not saying I can feel what,
I'm on the base. They're saying that 5 minutes and then they drop out.
Yeah, and 5 minutes is arbitrary. They don't mean 5 minutes, but
the thing is,
early.
He might mean that.
He might mean 5, actually. Yeah.
The thing is, though, that is not games being designed for Game Pass. That's just the people using Game Pass. The ADHD flick in, flick out, right? They're the people using it. The games aren't designed for the service, but the people who use the service have that mentality, right? So,
I'll just challenge that though after you finish your point.
I was just going to say, if you look at their recent first-party releases, outside of the smaller games,
he needed to say the Xbox gamers talking about people that use it. I see people play games through PlayStation Plus. You know what? A week later, I see they complete the goddamn game. Okay,
it's the person, it's not the service. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't see the games being developed specifically to cater to these kinds of people, because all their games so far. Bear in mind, I've been told this since like 2020. Before then, they're going to develop games for Game Pass, and all the games they've been releasing they're not being developed for Game Pass. I don't see this instant gratification thing that they're on about. So I just think it's the user of Game Pass that is skewing it, rather than the games need to be designed for it. But go on.
Yeah, no, I can't. I've lost my fucking train of thought. I forgot what I was going to say now. But no. It was on the Game Pass design.
You had a challenge. You said I'll challenge you on that, and it was him saying that the games are not. I'll say this much, that Singer. It's again. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're saying the games are not designed for that. I'm saying this may be something that they're just kind of coming about now to see that the numbers.
This is what I was going to say.
Go ahead, Nip. Go ahead.
So there was this thing that Chris String put out about like Game Pass is not profitable, and then Microsoft made a clarification, and they said lost sales are counted in the numbers for Game Pass, not first-party sales, not the loss of third-party sales, but they said first-party studios have their own P&L, and because they're expected to sell games separately to Game Pass, but again, they have their own P&L and metrics, right, which is separate to Game Pass. And a lot of people saying, "Oh, he got it wrong. He got it wrong." But weirdly, like when I read the clarification from Microsoft, it was actually more worrying for me, because the thing is, if you are expected to sell this is not calculating whether Game Pass is profitable. That P&L for Game Pass includes loss of software, but for studios themselves, they have a different P&L assessment, which does factor in sales, right? But the problem is there's a problem there. There's a cutoff, because on the one hand you're expecting studios to sell certain copies, but on the other hand, Game Pass is directly responsible for cannibalizing those sales. So whether you may take into the account of lost sales on the P&L of Game Pass, you're not taking it into account on the P&L of the first-party studios. And I do believe that could be one of the reasons why we're having studio closures and more layoffs, etc., because these games are selling less because of Game Pass, and that is unfair on the studios. So if they have a situation where, they know, they might not be getting those sales because of Game Pass, unfortunately, they will have to, the first-party studios, will have to increasingly design around Game Pass, because that is basically going to be their bread and butter in engagement, not traditional sales, because unfortunately traditional sales are falling by the wayside on the Xbox side. Then again, I will say, now that they're releasing games on PlayStation, that might kind of remedy that issue, because they are going to start getting sales again, traditional sales, a much higher volume because of PlayStation. So we just have to see how the numbers line up. But at the moment,
the thing is, it's like the narrative that they'll design for Game Pass has been around for years, right? It's not a new thing. But the thing is, I look at like the upcoming games. I look in 2026, and the 4 games they said was coming. The new Gears isn't going to be designed for Game Pass. Fable, sure as hell, isn't designed for Game Pass. And then the Halo.
What do you mean is designed for Game Pass?
What do you mean by that? Like, because it's
like smaller budget, shorter games.
That's not what he's saying at all. He was just trying to say engagement has to start immediately. Things need to just jump at you. It doesn't mean it's going to be a 5-minute game. That's not what he's saying.
Yeah.
What we're saying is
I would actually argue the opposite. I would say it's more contingent on games being longer
because, and explosive RPGs more often.
Things like that. Yeah, because you need people to be subscribed for as long as possible. The shorter the game, the worse off it is, because something like Avowed, Elder Scrolls, Outer Worlds, those are great, because most people are not enthusiast gamers, and they only play like a little bit every week, maybe 1 hour a day or 1 hour every 2-3 days. So something that is 20, 30, 40, 50 hours, if it can hold them, it might keep them subscribed for like 2, 3, 4 months, right? So that's actually better for them, which is why I think they're very heavy on that side of things. Like WRPGs are massive right now for Xbox. And I think it could be because of sort of longevity thing. So I wouldn't necessarily agree. I think something like Hi-Fi Rush is actually the antithesis of like a Game Pass system, because, it's only going to hold someone's attention for such a short period of time. Do they really want to be spending 3 years of development, 4 years of development, and, tens of millions of dollars for something that, even if they do hook someone's attention, they're only going to play for a session or two, and that's it. It's not really going to be a reason for them to say subscribe.
But then they have the smaller studios. Like, look at Double Fine's game coming up, that Watchtower game, or Lighthouse, or whatever the fuck it is, right? They have the studios to deliver the smaller projects, but then they also have the big projects. I just think instant gratification in RPGs is really difficult, because just the way they are fundamentally designed. Like, because first of all, you need to explain the story. It's like the thing with Avowed, like they have a cutscene at the start. They tell you the background. They tell you the premise of the story. They tell you what happened in previous history. And then when you first start out, you have to figure out what is this? What is that? What's the story? Who's this? and then you slowly get into the game. RPGs have always been like that. So I don't think there'll ever be instant gratification. I think stuff like Call of Duty and stuff is instant gratification, right? Because you boot up Call of Duty, jump in multiplayer, and you're killing people, right? That's probably as quick as you can get for gratification.
But
so
obviously Baldur's Gate 3 and Elder Scrolls, they sell gangbusters, right? I think you can still have a genre that is like takes more time to be absorbed, but is also tweaked. Like maybe, like I'm just giving you an example, obviously off the top of my head. But say like ordinarily you might design, say, the game in Elder Scrolls 6 to, you get the different magic attacks, like maybe 10, 15, 20 hours into the game. But because of, because you're cognizant of like subscribers and etc., maybe you might give them more tools right at the beginning. Maybe you might give them a special magic attack or something that you wouldn't ordinarily give them straight away. Maybe you'll give them that straight away, just to keep them a little bit more engaged. So those are the kinds of things I think about when I think of adjusting design, not necessarily,
making the game smaller or cheaping out on the budgets. Because that was the initial narrative that was spun back in the day when Game Pass first came out, was they're going to make smaller games because they need to have it fit inside Game Pass, so you can't be having your 100 million budget games anymore. And so obviously that was the original narrative spun for it, but that's clearly not the case, because you look at something like Forza Horizon 5 and all these games, and it's like clearly they've got a budget of some sort to them. I could see the instant gratification thing, but I just think they already have games that do that. I don't think all their games have to do that, because you have like your yearly Call of Duty in there now. Like they purchased instant gratification basically.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Singer Man. When the PlayStation games go over there, Xbox game will start completing them games. Don't worry.
He'll take care of them for you.
They obviously not interested in the Xbox game, so you know what I mean. Y'all say all of that just to say they're not interested in Xbox games, man. That's what it is. They're not interested.
So shout out to Digital Dude. He says, like vegans, he goes, how do you know if someone plays on PC? They keep telling you. Shout out to Digital Dude. Thanks for the super chat. Glassdoor Gamer says, Xbox wanted to be the Netflix of gaming. Well, they succeeded. Many people watch something for 5 minutes and drop out. Shout out to Glassdoor. And Glinster says, the community pool, Jay Barry renamed it Pool Pass.
Pool Pass.
So, Jack, I gotta ask Jack a question here. I see Jack's muted. Hopefully, he can hear this because I gotta get his opinion. This will be our last subject, real quick. So, Lost Soul aside, because we got Death Singer playing it, so this might be a really great conversation to kind of spark it off. Lost Soul aside was one of the year's most anticipated games, but what caused the low meta scores, and where do we draw the line with developers? Because Jack, we've been hard tonight on gamers. We've been hard tonight on the platforms, right? Now we're talking about the developers. And Jack, I don't want to put words in your mouth because I saw some of what you wrote, but it was a minute ago, so I don't remember everything. Jack, you were not, if I remember right, you weren't too happy with the performance in the situation with Lost Soul aside. Can you take us through? Because I think that was a game you were probably looking forward to, and then when you saw the way it was, you were like, you put the brakes on. But where do we have this this okay with certain amount of developers? Like, there was only 20 developers here, or there's only 40 over here, or there's only 60 over here. I saw that kind of getting on your bad side with that. Jack, what do you think about Lost Soul aside?
When I originally saw Lost Soul aside, I said it looked like a low budget like Final Fantasy ripoff when I first saw it, and then I found out it was made by one guy, and I said, well, that's admirable. That's right. I can appreciate that. That's dope, right? I never criticize somebody for trying to make their dreams come true. And then I find out, he get plugged in with Sony, so they got Sony funded. So I'm like, okay, I'm looking forward to see what they craft with this situation. And I don't know how much it got funded. People between me different numbers. All that set aside, right? I'm thinking, okay, China Hero Project. I played some games from the China Hero Project. I've enjoyed them. This game's funded by Sony. It's been in development for like 10 years. I'm thinking when it come out, we're going to get a nice little polished situation, maybe a smaller game, but something that people can enjoy.
Nice, yeah.
Everything I've seen about the game, even before it came out, I'm hearing the voice acting. It's abysmal. I'm seeing poor performance at launch. They saying we're sorry. The cutscenes is running awkwardly. And like, bro, you had 10 years, bro. Like,
it's been
come
a minute.
on, man. And I understand this is a small team, but then again, you got games. I don't want to keep bringing up Expedition 33, but Expedition 33 has a small team. I'm not going to even say how many people work for because this is my problem, bro. When I bring up Expedition, and Expedition 33, when it was first came out, people was praising. This is a small dev team of former Ubisoft devs. Look what they made happen, as opposed to all these big budgeted AAA games. That's terrible, right?
Right.
So their game got praised for that. But now that Lost Soul Aside has came out, people are saying, well, Expedition 33 really had like 400 people work on the game, and well, you don't think it was localizers and porters and contractors working on Lost Soul Aside as well? Like, you got to be fair with this shit, man. Like, people pick and choose, and
I agree.
This might be a hot take, but Lost Soul Aside would not be getting the defense it's getting right now if it was not a China Hero Project Sony funded game. It just would. If this was an independent game by a small team, people would be roasting. But this game is getting a lot of leeway right now.
I don't agree with that, Jack.
I think so.
I think I'm not defending the game because I do feel like the performance needs to be better. My only issue with the game is like every time you go into like a new area or like a different section of the game, it's like these little hitch that happens, like it's loaded into the game. But as far as the cutscenes and all that stuff, it's been fine. The game is fire. Gameplay wise, people harken a lot on gameplay, right? Gameplay is king. Gameplay wise, this game is heat, in my opinion. The bosses is fire. The character, it could be a little bland here and there, but I'm only on chapter 2, like the mid of chapter 2 or whatnot. But yeah, real talk. I feel like if people play it, if you play the game, you're gonna like it because the gameplay is heat. The how layered the game is, it's very fantasy, Devil May Cry, type game. But it got so much layers and so much things that you can do because they're constantly rewarding you with things, and you can just constantly like, okay, let me test how this works, and let me see how this works. Let me see if this combo can work. Let me see if this can work with this trinket or this can work with this setup. The game is fire to me, but yeah, I would have preferred the game to launch in a better state as far as performance. Because that hitching is annoying. You know what I mean? It is annoying, but I don't see the issue with how people are. I don't know how this game got like a whatever it is on Metacritic. I don't know. But I saw it's like it got that Xbox yellow piss stain on it. I don't see a yellow with this game. But yeah, as far as the criticisms with the performance, I agree 100%. The acting is a little bad too, but gameplay wise, story wise, I like it. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Thing is, with Lost Soul Aside, what I found.
Wait, before you talk, let me just ask Barry. When you say you like it, like give me, just so I can gauge, if you were to rate it a score based on what you've played so far, early score, what would you rate it?
That's a good question.
I wouldn't grade a score. I hate grading scores for something I didn't finish. But I would recommend the game like I'm doing now. If you're interested in an action adventure or just an action, hack and slash game, this is down your alley. If you enjoy Devil May Cry, if you enjoy Bayonetta, if you enjoy any type of high octane type game, you're going to enjoy this game. Gameplay wise, story wise, and characters. That's we'll see with that how it pans out. But gameplay, right from the rip, it's fire. The joint heat. I like it a lot. I think people's gonna like it. And the more I'm playing, the more I'm unlocking, and the more weapon abilities and the more the skill tree is growing, the more stuff that I'm doing. Like you can cancel stuff. It's deep. It's very deep, gameplay wise.
The thing is, what I found with the game is it's like the combat's great. The combat system, it's expressive. You do long combos. Your companion Arena transforms into different weapons and forms, so you can experiment in the middle of battle. Although Arena just won't shut the fuck up. So there's that. But then it's like what I found is though, like the combat is great, the music is great.
Oh, the music is
But yes, there is some technical issues. I've noticed it. There's the hitching when you go into a new zone, and there's like stutters sometimes. I've noticed that. But like what I found is, yes, the characters are a bit bland. It's a bit cliche, the story. But I liken it to some anime that I enjoy, right? Some anime is your generic OPMC fantasy anime that you know the stories, you know exactly where the story's going, you know the characters, what they're gonna do, you know what the ending's gonna look like. You've already done this 100 times, but it's like your favorite junk food. Like you're still gonna consume it. You know it. You know it's not the best out there, but you'll still consume it because it's comfortable, right? This game for me is comfort because I go into it and I'm like, I see the story. Yes, the characters are bland. The combat's fire, but as much as I could say the characters are bland and the story is cliche and you know where it's going, I still enjoy the journey regardless. So I'm gonna enjoy the game, but I'm not gonna sit here and if you're like, oh, I want a great action RPG or an action hack and slash, I'll be like, yeah, get this game, but here is the things you need to know about the game because the combat is just fire, the music fire. But again, if you're looking for the pinnacle of fantasy storytelling, you're not finding it here. Great characters with in-depth, stories. You're not going to find that here. So
yeah, I agree that I agree with that. I don't think that the story so far is not as deep. There's some mystery there, but it's pretty. If you play those games or if you played enough games, you can figure stuff out.
if
But
you
yeah,
played enough Final Fantasy, you can figure it out.
yeah, if you're there for the gameplay, you're not going to get disappointed with what I'm playing so far. I think.
So is that it? So is that enough though? Because I mean, it is. They're charging, what is it, $59.99? It was a $60 game. It wasn't 70. So
I mean,
is that?
I'd
But
say
well,
for
I
that
mean,
price,
listen, Jay, I tuned in every Saturday morning. You guys would always in a game. Jay, usually you could sell me on a game from What's Up PlayStation. That was not a good sales pitch. That did not sound. That didn't sound great.
There's issues that I have with the games. So
I don't even mind the technical issue. I listen. I think we're if a game works and it's like like Detzinger said, when you go into one transition from one scene to the other and there's an issue, a little stuttering. That for me, that's never a deal breaker. Don't care. I mean, I care, but don't care where I'm not going to play the game. But when you say like the voice acting, some of the writing, the story's bland or cliche. Like we've played a million Devil May Cry types of games. Like when you play that, then the story is what brings you to that next level. Like I actually probably one of the only people I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 16. I really did. But I thought the gameplay was good, and I actually liked the story. I know people might say that that's crazy, but I did.
I'm not saying the story is like complete utter trash. I'm just saying that. From what I'm playing, it's like one of those. It's multi-layered. So you have your own agenda with Kaiser, and then Arena, the dragon that's surrounding you, has his own agenda. But there's a lot of mystery behind Arena and this Void Drax that his race or this race that's taking over or whatnot or stealing these souls. So that's where you're starting the journey. Like I enjoy the story, but I'm not saying like it's not no groundbreaking. Okay. Oh, this is going to set the world on fire type thing. It's an enjoyable story. Voice acting, though, I think the voice acting is kind of weak. But gameplay wise, if you care about gameplay, if you care about this action
gameplay should always be probably the majority of what you're judging something on. Majority, not all.
I highly recommend it. I think the game is heat. I think the game is fire.
The gameplay is completely fire. Don't get me wrong. When I say the story is cliche, it's not a marking it down for it. It's just I've been on this journey before. It feels like a game that I've put. The story is kind of like, okay, I can see where you're going with this. I can see the tropes. I could see, it's like I see where this is going, and I could kind of figure out where you're coming when, like the end game, when you finish the game. I could kind of see where it's gonna go, which way it's gonna go. So it's not revolutionary. But a lot of games aren't like revolutionary story anyway.
Grand Theft Auto 6 ain't gonna be revolutionary story.
No, it's not. No, it ain't. That's right. Well, Jay, can I ask you a question? Jay, how would you stack it up against Valkyrie Elysium?
Ooh.
Valkyrie Elysium story wise, I love that game.
Yes.
But combat wise, I think the combat is better than Valkyrie Elysium.
Really? Okay.
Valkyrie Elysium offer a different Valkyrie Elysium offer a different set of gameplay because
It is
it's
different.
surrounded
It's
by
different,
your
yes.
inheriots, where
That's
using
true.
inheriots to extend combos. In this game, you can look at it and you can look at the weapons as your inheriots, where you can switch your weapons that's quickly to extend combos or to do something different. You know what I mean? So combat wise is there, but this one I think is a little bit deeper.
Okay.
There's more nuance. There's more stuff to sink your teeth in combat wise so far, but I recommend both of them. You already know I love Valkyrie.
I know you
love that
do.
game.
When you and Persona talked about that game, you're the ones that got me onto that game. So I gotta tip my cap to what's up, PlayStation.
I love the Valkyrie series. That's my series.
But let me say this. So Jack, real quick, a lot of people in the chat want me to ask, so I'll ask you, Jack. Does your opinion change on this game if it's $40? Does money come into play here, or that's not the point of the discussion?
I think the price absolutely would alter my opinion.
Okay.
If this was a budget title, I wouldn't be as hard on it. Also, if it wasn't funded by Sony, I gotta be like, if it wasn't funded by Sony, man, because chat, when you hear Sony PlayStation involved with something, especially gaming, what you think about? You think about some great shit, right? You think you finna really get one of them ones. So when they attach their name to certain stuff, I'm saying, okay, it's gonna be up here. It's at least gonna reach this threshold. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, especially at a $60 price point, as opposed to some of the best. At one point of this year, the best rated games, the 3 best rated games, was all under sub $70. Right? It was like Blueprints and E33, and it was another game. They was all like $50 and less. Right?
Yep.
So you can't do that and then turn around and charge a premium price for this game, in my opinion. Not at what they came out with. Now, if they would have patched it and worked on a little bit more, put it in the oven a little bit more, man, let it cook, I wouldn't have no issue with it, man. But I'm hearing too much trouble things. I'm seeing too much trouble things about this game.
Yeah.
At a $60 price point.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, obviously, I've not played the actual game yet, but the fucking gameplay that I just see from people is not inspiring. And even though the combat looks cool, it's got this thing where, like, maybe Barry, you can correct me, but it's just like, it's kind of like I had this issue with, even though the rest of the game was good, but with South of Midnight, where it's just like, here's the arena, it's locked off, kill these enemies, unlocked. Like, the engagement design is not very inspiring. Like, it's just, here you go, you're in a circle, defeat the enemies, you'll be out of the circle. Forget about, like, using parts of the environment, having verticality, having this, having, different pathways, being able to flank or whatever, or just, like, even hack and slashes, at least you're moving around and use the environment and all these other things. But here it just seems very trite. And yeah,
it depends on who you're fighting, because they have used the environment. There's an area in the game, like it's really the beginning of the game, where you're using the environment to shelve off attacks from enemies, or to shelve off this tack that could pretty much one hit you. So you got to use the environment to kind of shield yourself.
Okay, that's cool.
Or they have, once you get like the great sword, you can use it to like surf through a certain area. So there's stuff like that in there. But yeah, bulk off it is like, it's kind of old school PS1, PS3. I get in this area, we're gonna fight off these enemies. But the boss fights, that's where it's gold at, in my opinion. The boss fights has been heat.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta say the cutscenes and stuff I've seen, I feel like some of them are tragic, but it could be because they're like English voice acted. I don't think you're meant to play this game English voice acted. Like,
A lot of people suggest play it like in Chinese or Japanese.
Yes, don't play it in English.
The thing is, I play all my Asian games all in their original language, because I tried, like Yakuza, right? The Yakuza series, I was playing through it, and I flicked to English, and I was like, yeah, no. And then I flicked to Japanese, and I'm like, Kiryu sounds right. But if you listen to Kiryu in English, it doesn't match what you're seeing on the screen. This badass Yakuza who's going around beating the brakes off anyone who looks at him the wrong way. And you listen to it in English, and it just doesn't fit right.
Yeah, because they got Young Ye voicing them now. You can't sell that character. My bad, Mooch.
So wait, no, he's right. No, so wait, that's like you'll put it in the Japanese language, but then will you do English? You'll do English subtitles.
Yeah, subbed. I enjoy my anime that way.
Okay.
Japanese subbed. Like I'm a subbed guy.
It does.
I've always been a subbed guy, and it sounds better in the original language than when they put an English dub on it. Like it just always sounds off. To when you look at the visuals and I hear the voices, it's just never matched for me. But when I flick it to like the original Japanese or Chinese or whatever, it just fits. It
does.
Feels right.
It's
I can't
smooth,
play
yeah.
it with English.
Yes.
Yo, so
voices.
Singer, when Ghost of Yote comes out next month, what language you gonna play it in?
When it comes to PC, I'll be playing it in Japanese. And Barry, you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Barry, he'll be listening to it through a Mooch stream on twitch.tv. That's where he'll be watching it.
There you go.
Shout out to
Absolutely.
the great Death Singer.
I don't YouTube games.
We'll definitely clear Death Singer that he plays his games for sure. No, guys, great show tonight. I don't want to keep you guys too late. I kept the audience here for 4 hours. We went on 3 hours tonight, and I promised you guys 9:30. There is some football left on, and I'm going to be seeing how my fantasy teams are doing. Probably not great, but nonetheless, I want to say thanks to everybody that's here. Thanks to guys for the super chats. It means the world to me. Please do hit the like button before you guys leave. We'll go in reverse order and say, yo, Jack, honestly, thanks for being here tonight, man. Crazy amount of shit going on in the news. A lot of it's opinionistic, which is great. I think you have some of the greatest takes. Let people know where they can find you, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey man, no problem. I always enjoy podding with y'all, man. YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Check me out, Jack Mood Johnny. You can check me out on Weapon Wheel Podcast every Sunday. What else? Oh, Blaze Solid Cast After Hours. I'm on there every other Saturday. We doing the pod tomorrow. Blaze 4K channel. That's it, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jack. And yeah, shout out to Blaze 4K, by the way. Shout out to Lazy as well. Those guys are fantastic guys. I'll be tuning in. I'll be in the chat for sure, Jack, tomorrow night. Great show that Blaze does on Saturday nights. So we'll go over and check him out, Solidcast, and then they do the Solidcast After Hours, which is even better. Appreciate you being here, Jack. I got Jay Barry. I want to say shout out to Brap. Brap's writing me a million times in the chat. Shout out to Brap. Brap couldn't make it tonight. Brap, hopefully you're back next week. Stop doing so many gaming events, Coach. We need Brap back on the show. Jay Barry, thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate it. I know it's Friday night. You just got the code as well to play little game that you and Persona. Did Persona get a code too, Jay? Before Persona,
I think Persona got a code.
My apologies, Persona, if he's listening to the show. I thought Persona got one too. But Marvel Token, you guys are playing that, and it's a phenomenal game from what I'm seeing. You guys, doesn't sound like anybody's disappointed. But Jay, thanks for being here tonight, buddy, and look forward to your takes on that game as you can and will reveal things.
Oh yeah, I will be streaming it. Marvel Token, the newest fighting game from Arc System Works and PlayStation. So yeah, I'll be streaming it all weekend. Where I'm going to no life it and try to learn this game, man. But yo, Mooch, it was a fun show.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. You know what I mean? I guess people are going to rewatch it on Astro Cyborg's Twitter channel.
That's right.
Yeah, been me for a minute, man. That's crazy, bro.
Hey, yo, somebody sent me a clip of this dude, right? My bad, Mooch. Yo, my man upload like a whole hour of somebody's podcast, bro. Even if people was like, yo, what the hell you doing, bro?
Yeah, nobody wants to watch it like that. Come on. Yo, put the link in there.
How you have all that time, bro? Like, damn. This man, he got the old school TV schedule.
Crazy.
But anyways, man, shout out to Astro Sidemore, man. He a loser, but shout out to Astro.
What the fuck?
But yo,
What the hell?
nah, man. Everybody hit the like button for my man Mooch. Make sure you sub up. And good show, Mooch. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button too.
Yes, sir. Please.
I saw somebody hit the dislike button. Change that to a like. You know you enjoyed the show.
Right.
You stayed here for the whole time.
You were here the whole damn 3 hours. Come on, give us a like. Jay, do appreciate you being here, man. Love the takes, and please keep being as active as you are on YouTube and on X. Please don't leave the community.
We'll see.
Do not leave, please. But shout out to Death Singer too. Death Singer, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. I know I took you away from your game. And I can't say thank you enough for that, to be honest with you. We do it every Thursday, but you're like, holy shit, today's Thursday. Yes, Death Singer. But it's not the same without you, buddy. So let people know they can find you, and thanks for being here tonight.
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, look at the panel. I mean, this is old school.
Yes, it is.
Like I mean,
Great.
I ain't spoke to Jack in ages. So it's always a pleasure,
man.
Barry. Barry's always out here, keeping it honest.
Yeah.
He
is.
and he's also, he also witnessed the biggest fraudery in gaming, because he was in the same space as me. But shout out to the chat as well. Love you, and also chat. If you think NBA 2K is an RPG, please let yourself out the front door.
We didn't even get into that. We should have got. We'll talk about it next week.
No, I would have gone on for hours.
It's actually a real debate going on.
I know.
People are bringing up points and everything, man. It's
Crazy.
It's type interesting, to be honest with you. But it's gaming. It's a gaming debate. I like it.
So we're here for it then. That's for damn sure. Shout out to Death Singer. Appreciate it. And then Nib, I know you're trying to solve puzzles in blueprints, but nonetheless.
I'm so close, dude. I'm so
Are you close to completing it or close to getting the platinum?
No, not the platinum. To beating the game.
Oh,
it's hard as fuck. It's not easy.
Yo, Nib, great to have you here, buddy.
I'm on X NIB95 _ Nib95 _. That's it. Appreciate the show, man. It was fun.
Great show, guys. Outstanding show. Please, on the way out, hit that like button. We'll see you guys next Thursday at 7 p.m. And I am planning to do some streaming over on Twitch this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. Please, remember, we're doing the whole Borderlands series. I've already reached out to Slow-Mo. We've got a couple of people that are joining. We're going to have an outstanding run through Borderlands 4, and that starts next weekend. But this weekend, we'll warm up and get the channel ripping and roaring. Guys, please do hit that like button. We'll see you next Thursday. Peace out. Good night. Go play some games.